Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Konoha, my skill upgrade experience remains the same. Chapter 41. Uchiha Clan Land, northeast corner of the training ground. The smoke all over the ground has not yet cleared, and Uchiha's wild laughter still echoes. Uchiha Hayato pulls Shinta and sits cross-legged on the edge of the huge crater that exploded from the detonation rune, replaying the battle just now. This duel, judging by how lightly you shot, Shinta, there is indeed a big gap between my strength and yours. Uchiha sighed. Whether it is ninjutsu or taijutsu, you have already surpassed me. Ordinary people can easily cross the ninja world if one of them reaches your level. In terms of illusion, you easily got rid of my Sharingan illusion, and you should have no problem dealing with ordinary illusion. However, there are still many strange techniques in the ninja world, such as the dust escape handed down by the leader of Iwagakure from generation to generation, the 5-sense illusion technique of the Kurama clan in the village, the ghoul sealing of the Uzumaki clan, and so on. As long as you hit any of these techniques, there will be extremely serious consequences. Therefore, I decided to give you a technique yesterday as a whole card. That's Izanagi, clan elder Uchiha Falconto explained with a serious face. Izanagi is the ultimate illusion created by the Sage of Six Paths according to the legend of the Uchiha clan. In a very short period of time, it can instantly transform all unfavorable factors of the caster, including death, into dreams, and can transform all favorable factors of the attacker into reality. It is the ability to freely control the boundaries between reality and dreams. And the price to pay is that a Sharingan loses its light forever. The Uchiha elder stretched out his right hand and took out a test tube that had been hidden in his sleeve. Inside, a 3-tomo Sharingan was rolling in saline. This Sharingan was originally prepared as insurance for this duel. In case you are in danger, I can activate Izanagi to change reality. It turned out that your strength was beyond my expectation, and it was useless in the end. So, let me use a transfer seal to seal Izanagi in your eyes, and use the legacy of the dead Uchiha tribe to add a final guarantee to your life. Uchiha Falconto said that he was about to reach out and dig out his left eye, and replace it with the Sharingan in the test tube to activate transfer seal Izanagi. Wait a minute. Uchiha Shinta stretched out his hand, stopped the movement of the clan elder, faced his puzzled eyes, but turned to talk about the myth of the creation of the Sage of Six Paths. According to the old legend, Sage of Six Paths opened up the world with yin and yang escape. The power of yin escape, which uses the spiritual energy in charge of imagination as the source, creates form in nothing. The power of yang escape, which uses the body energy in charge of life as the source, give life to form. From legend to reality, clan elders, you also know that no matter how powerful a technique is, it must be sourced from mental energy and physical energy in order to exert various effects. Take illusion as an example. If the subject's mental power is too strong, the weak illusion will be directly resisted. Then, how can the clan elder be sure that the transfer seal Izanagi you launched will work on me? Uchiha Shinta's light words stirred up huge waves in the heart of clan elder Uchiha Falcon, and his pride in the Sharingan blood made him subconsciously refute. During the Sengoku period, I saw with my own eyes that a patriarch-level master of the Uchiha clan used this technique in a war to reverse a fatal injury. But the gap between me and him is obvious, isn't it? Uchiha Shinta followed closely. In my feeling, clan elder, if you activated the transfer seal just now, it would have no effect on me. How can a single lamp grass bind the Kanglong? So, I think it's best to test the effect. Otherwise, if I'm about to lose the battle and try to use this final hole card but it doesn't work, wouldn't I be dead? Uchiha's face was tangled for a moment, but he quickly made a decision. With the future of the Uchiha clan on one side and the 3-tomo Sharingan still in stock, the choice is obvious. Since that's the case, I'm using Izanagi now to try to change your reality. But if it works for you, you must accept the transfer seal. Don't disappoint the blessings of the ancestors. The old-fashioned Uchiha Hayato directly deducted his Sharingan and replaced it with the saline one, and said to Uchiha Shinta meaningfully. Mao Hai Wei. Izanagi technique. An invisible wave hit Uchiha Shinta. In the body replacement technique state, he is as stable as Mount Tai. How is it possible? Ikina Shie is really useless. Uchiha Falconto doesn't care at all now that the newly transplanted left eye has lost its light, and the remaining right eye Sengoyu is turning rapidly. The shock in his heart seems to see the moon fall and the resurrection of Sage of Six Paths. He urged, Izanagi, just now, intending to change the past where Uchiha Shinta came over, and moved Uchiha Shinta back a step, but found that Shinta did not even shake a hair after using Izanagi, giving him it feels as if I am pushing the sun and the moon, and no matter how much I move, it is just a waste of effort. He couldn't help but think again about Uchiha Shinta's information. Uchiha Hayato met Uchiha Shinta for the first time, only heard that he defeated Senju Hashirama's grandson in school and won the first place in the ninja school. It is also discovered that Shinta is an orphan, and it is a talent that suddenly appeared after his parents died in battle. It is therefore suspected that Uchiha Shinta opened Sharingan at the age of 7. However, although there are not many Uchiha clans who started Sharingan due to the stimulation of the death of their relatives when they were young, they still exist, and not everyone can achieve Kage level. It should be the patriarchal level during the Sengoku period. Uchiha Falconto is just out of the idea of cultivating the next generation of Uchiha elites. He called Shinta to enlighten him, and gave him 3 ninjutsu by the way, which can be regarded as a casual investment. The second time I heard about Uchiha Shinta was only half a month apart. He has already used Tsunade Heim, the direct princess of the Senju family, as a cash machine in Konoha Commercial Street. At this time, the importance of Shinta in Uchiha's heart began to increase. No matter how he did it, just the relationship between the Senju clan and the Uchiha clan, and the difference between his status as a non-graduate student of the ninja school and the status of Tsunade Jonin, it is an exceptionally powerful ability to make Tsunade follow behind him. Last night, Uchiha Falconto first planned to test Uchiha Shinta's talent and character, to see if he could bear the burden of supporting the family. If Shinta passes the test, he will spend the remaining 10 or 20 years of his life slowly cultivating Uchiha Shinta, at least to support the Uchiha family in the future. After all, the current Uchiha clan has been secretly resenting the village since the Battle of the Valley of Ending, and even he himself, asking himself the same, exists. In the village, Shimura Danzo takes the lead and often confronts Uchiha. In this situation, anyone with a long-term vision can see that as long as the grievances are not resolved, they will accumulate over time, which will only lead to Uchiha and the village going against each other. But how to eliminate the feelings hidden in the human heart? Only the result of one side overpowering the other. But the current strength of the Uchiha clan is mostly old guys like him, and there are only a dozen or so young people who have reached Jonin. And in terms of the key and highest combat power, since the death of the previous great elder, he is already the only Kage level in the clan. Compared with Sarutobi Hiruzen, Shimura Danzo, Akamaiki Takakase, Mitokado Homura, Hataki Sakumo, Orochimaru, Jiraiya, Tsunade and other masters in the village, it is obviously not enough. But Uchiha Shinta's performance directly refreshed his 3 views. From the blue fireball shown yesterday, to today's taijutsu, ninjutsu, and even the complete resistance to the ultimate illusion of Izanagi, just now, he understood that the Uchiha Shinta he saw was just an iceberg corner. And just this tip of the iceberg already made him unbelievable. It's like buying a house, and you're ready to repay the loan, but after you buy it, you find out that the house comes with a whole community and the loan is immediately waived. When I thought this was the ultimate surprise, there was a country succession certificate in the house. As long as I signed it, I could inherit a country. The exaggeration is completely beyond imagination. Uchiha's breathing started to become short again. From what I felt just now, Izanagi should physically change reality to achieve the desired effect. Obviously, there is a little bit of a gap between you and me, clan boss, so you don't need to give me the Izanagi under the transfer seal. After all, it's tiring to dust off all the time. Uchiha Shinta explained calmly beside him, expressing his understanding of Uchiha Falconto's emotional changes. After all, he was equally excited when he found out that his talent open cheating was so strong. Now there is someone who can feel a little bit of my own feelings. Is it very gratifying, isn't it? Call. Clan elder Uchiha Hayato breathed a sigh of relief, stood up and bowed to Uchiha Shinta. Shinta-kun, I apologize for my shallowness. I often hear that summer worms can't be compared with ice, but I always arrogantly compare and evaluate you with myself, so that I made a joke just now. Uchiha Shinta lifted up with a smile. The clan elders don't have to be so polite. I also know that I really want to do it for my own good, but Izanagi has no effect on me. But wouldn't the clan not be able to help you at all in this way? The meaning of existence of a clan that cannot support the clan would be denied. The Uchiha elder, who had been strong all his life, was also a little confused when he spoke at this time. Why would Uchiha Shinta help the Uchiha clan if he couldn't leave the bond? If the clan wants to support me, please also give me some single attribute and fusion attribute ninjutsu scrolls of the 5 elements and yin and yang to study the nature of chakra. Recognizing the meaning of Uchiha's words, Shinta directly asked for the ninjutsu he lacked. Okay, I'll go back now, sort out the ninjutsu in the clan immediately, and send it to you in 3 days at most. The elders who received Uchiha Shinta's reply lifted their spirits. Now that you've decided to say goodbye to Uchiha Shinta, head over to your ninjutsu inventory. But before leaving, clan elder Uchiha asked one last question. Shinta-kun, you are so powerful, are you really not a celestial being? Konoha Village, Senju Family Mansion, Tsunade Courtyard. There were bursts of shouts from Dudiju. 789 straight. QKA Shunzi. No, pass. 4-5, bomb. No, pass. Pass. 3 with 2. I win. Tsunade quick note. Uchiha Shinta's voice came out of it, and it was clear that he was the winner of the duel. Snapped. I've posted it. Let's start the next game. I must get a good card in this hand. Tsunade is still so addicted to gambling, the eagerness in his voice can be heard through a wall. The cards are shuffled, roll the dice to see who gets the cards first. The weakest Nawaki is obviously contracted to reshuffle the cards. After all, one is his sister and the other is the number 1 in the class. Both of them can kill themselves instantly with one move. What else can Rope Chuchupi do besides shuffling the cards obediently? I cast 6 points. Shinta has 3 points, sister has 5 points, I will draw first. Nawaki's cheerful voice came, completely oblivious to Tsunade looking at him with a dark face beside him. I robbed the landlord, Tsunade Heim doing her part. Quote. Comma. Today is the 3rd day since the duel between Uchiha Shinta and clan elder Uchiha Hayato. In the world of Hokage, heaven and man is a beautiful word. Correcting its origin, it probably starts with Otsutsuki Kagaya-ji descending from the sky. After she came to the world, she used the power of blood to follow the snare to quell the troubled times. She was revered as the goddess of Mao, beyond ordinary people, means. However, Uchiha Shinta was influenced by his previous life, and his first impression when talking about heaven and man is the Eastern Invincible, who transforms from heaven and man, and all things grow. Although Dongfang Bubai's many TV series have been adapted later, and the female version of the guru is even more heroic and heroic, but he is not a man after all, is he? So, facing Uchiha Hayato's last question that afternoon, Shinta answered him very firmly, no. After leaving the Uchiha training ground, the clan elder went to sort out ninjutsu. Uchiha Shinta looked up and found that it was still early, and he didn't want to practice the proficiency of fried eggs with white rice, so he went to the streets of Konoha, planning to go to Ichiraku Ramen for a meal. After all, Ichiraku Ramen is the signature of the Hokage world. Single quote. In Shinta's mind, he bared his teeth and made Might Guy's signature hand gesture, and quickly shook his head. Suddenly, Shinta, who was walking on the road, saw the flow of people in front of him parting, as if seeing something to avoid. Listen carefully, there are 2 familiar voices arguing, getting closer. Good afternoon, Shinta. Do you want to play a game together? When the separated stream of people came in front of Shinta, the person walking in front had already greeted him first, but he had a black eye when he opened his mouth. Who else is there except Suna Big Fat Sheep Hand? Nawaki squatted on the ground behind and dragged Tsunade's hand. Obviously, he was trying his best to prevent Tsunade from going nowhere. Shinta guessed that his grandma Uzumaki Mito told him to stop it. After all, his pocket money had been taken away twice, will definitely hide it. Uchiha Shinta raised his hand, and was about to say hello to respond, but suddenly heard Nawaki crying. Woo, sister, give me back my pocket money, this is my last money. Woohoo. Well, Shinta still underestimated Tsunade's ability to find things as a ninja and Nawaki's sloppy skills. Don't be so stingy, Nawaki. I'm just borrowing your pocket money for a while. When I get back the money, I'll double it to you. Tsunade dragged a person without slowing down at all, and walked several steps forward while talking, and came to Uchiha Shinta. Nawaki has a quick brain, trying to save the banknotes that have left him. Ah, sister, didn't you say yesterday that Shinta is not loyal enough, that if he wins, he will leave, and that he must win back next time? I told Shinta, and he agreed to continue playing poker this morning. Shinta-kun, you have time right now. Nawaki kept winking at Shinta, hoping that he would save his pocket money. Ah, that's true, I have nothing to do these days. So Tsunade wants to continue yesterday's game. Faced with the request of his friends, Shinta, who has nothing to do, also wants to continue a fierce battle abuse food. Tsunade hesitated for a while, mainly because he rubbed the Nawaki wallet in his hands, guessing that he would not be able to play a few rounds in the casino, and then made a decision. I'm still afraid that you won't succeed. Go to my house and continue. This time I must win. Gang, I don't know my own food. Shook hands and broke away from Nawaki, and walked towards the house in the first place. Uchiha Shinta picked up Nawaki, who fell and squatted, and followed Tsunade, asking for rewards as he passed by. I helped you avoid Tsunade this time, remember to treat me to yakiniku next time. I'm going to the restaurant owned by Akamaiki's. Yadai, my pocket money this time is not enough for a meal. Quote. That's it. In the past 3 days, apart from going to class during the day and going home to sleep after 11 p.m., Uchiha Shinta played cards in the Tsunade yard, and Nawaki had to follow because of the threat of 2 creditors. How did the creditor get here? After Tsunade returned the pocket money to Nawaki, he said that Nawaki owed her a pocket money loan, and if he didn't admit it, he would forcefully rob it now. Shinta said that Nawaki owed him a barbecue, and if he didn't admit it, he would go home and let Tsunade take it he robbed his pocket money. Rope. White-haired girl tree is forced to obey the enemy. You can only have fun while playing cards. So there was the scene where Tsunade snatched the landlord at the beginning. Right. 3. Tsunade, I'm going home early today, the clan boss has something to do with me. Uchiha Shinta played a card and stated in advance that he would go home early today to receive NPC rewards. Right. 4. What's the matter again? The day before yesterday I said I had something to go back to, and I said it again today. Tsunade took the card and expressed dissatisfaction with Uchiha Shinta leaving the game early every time the heat was played. Yeah, sister, Shinta-kun has been playing at our house for 3 days, and I can only practice chakra refining at night for these 3 days, and I don't have time to practice ninjutsu. Nawaki followed the card, reminding Tsunade of the time, and by the way, the opposite dog man and woman threatened him to play the game. Yes. 10. What Nawaki said is also reasonable. I think we will play one day on the weekend. After all, you still have to practice ninjutsu, otherwise it will be too shameful if you can't even take one move from me every time. Uchiha Shinta nodded in agreement, saying that you practice more, this talent open hack is strong enough. Yes. All right, but play 2 more games today. Tsunade can't refute it, but he is addicted to gambling and just wants to play for a while. Nani, sister, have you ever fought Shinta? Shinta-kun, you are so strong. I will challenge you in the next duel class. Yes. Rope. Repeated battles and repeated defeats. Never discouraged. Shu split the 3 aces into a pair in shock and played them out. Sorry, pass. Then play 2 more rounds. And Nawaki, don't you challenge me every class. Quote. It was close to 9 o'clock that night, and with tenacious perseverance, he rejected Tsunade's invitation to play another round. Shinta directly moved home with the body replacement technique amidst Tsunade's voice of, play again. After all, it has been so late, the Uchiha elders must not be able to wait. Sure enough, when I got home, I found that not only Uchiha-zan was waiting there in the usual black clothes, but even the elders of the Uchiha clan were waiting at the door in a regular uniform. Seeing Uchiha Shinta come back, clan elder Uchiha Hayato stood up. Shinta-kun, the ninjutsu scroll is ready. Uchiha family land, center left. Uchiha Shinta, led by the elder Uchiha Falconto, came to the library where the Uchiha clan stored ninjutsu. From the appearance, this is an ordinary small house, no different from the surrounding houses. There are couplets pasted on the door, branches spread on the courtyard wall, and the light inside the house still shines softly. However, from Uchiha Shinta's senses, as soon as he approached this street, several ninjas began to follow him, and the surrounding houses that looked like residential buildings occasionally paid attention to them, and there were at least 5 ninjas of Jonin level inside the Zangsuge. Always be on your guard. According to the introduction of Clan Laolu, this is the place where the Uchiha clan concentrated store ninjutsu. It has been established here since the establishment of Konoha village, and it is the most important heritage of the Uchiha clan. The Uchiha family has been collecting ninjutsu and even forbidden techniques since the Sengoku period. After Konoha was established, it exchanged a lot of ninjutsu from the Senju family, and this is the case with the Senju families, body technique and strange power technique, before, here. Usually, when the clan rewards or confers ninjutsu, the clan elder or clan leader sends someone to copy it and then hand it over, so very few people come here. Clan elder Uchiha Hayato looked at Shinta, who seemed to be very curious about the Zangsuge, which looked like a folk house, and explained patiently. And when it was being built, the relationship between other ninja clans was not so harmonious. For the sake of safety, the clan specially built it to be more ordinary. It is also because of the foundation here that I have been able to classify all ninjutsu according to their attributes in the past 3 days. I will hand over the ninjutsu catalog and the seal-breaking technique to you later. I have already explained to the ninja on duty here, Shinta-kun, you can come and go to watch the ninjutsu scrolls here as you like, without any restrictions. Uchiha Shinta was not shy about enjoying the special treatment, and complimented him. Then trouble the clan boss to introduce it to me later, I can't wait for the ninjutsu collection in the clan. While talking, the two came to the door of Zangshu Pavilion, only to find that there were already 3 people standing here. One was a middle-aged man with a square face, and the other 2 were elderly people who looked to be in their 50s or 60s. Old Falcon Fighter. The leading man with a square face came down first and greeted Uchiha Falcon. Patriarch, there are 2 elders. Uchiha nodded in response. Patriarch, are you here to inquire about ninjutsu? Yeah, there are a group of ninjas in the clan who are about to advance, and we're here to find ninjutsu that matches their attributes and talents. Oh, that's really worth celebrating. The juniors in the clan have also developed. Yes, the younger generations in the clan have made sufficient contributions to the clan, so of course they should be rewarded. Only in this way will someone do things for the clan. Ha 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 ha. It should be said that by giving enough support to the younger generations in the clan, they will become the pillars of the clan. Quote. Very confident in his talent, not in a hurry, Yuzebo Shinta didn't step forward to interrupt, just listened to their greetings with interest, and speculated about their identities by the way. From Shinta's point of view, this man who is called the Patriarch by the Patriarch is similar to Uchiha Fugaku in appearance. According to the feudal background of the Hokage world, the Patriarch is the father of the Patriarch, so he is very likely to be Uchiha Fugaku's father. The 2 elders around him should be the old people who survived from the Sengoku period with Uchiha Hayato, but he didn't find anything familiar. In terms of strength, from the perception of the chakra of the 3 of them, they are all at the Jonin level, and have not reached the Kage level qualitative change. According to clan elder Uchiha Falconto, he should be the only ninja with Kage level strength in the clan. Uchiha Shinta was wandering in the sky, and suddenly heard the Uchiha Patriarch bring the topic to himself. Old Falcon Fighter, don't know who's next to you. This is Shinta-kun, a genius boy in our clan. He has a strength not inferior to mine, and he will be the strongest combat power in our clan in the future. I specially brought him here to watch the ninjutsu scroll this time, in order to further improve his combat power system and enhance the strength of the clan. Uchiha Hayato smiled and introduced Uchiha Shinta to the 3. So the Patriarch, you have been organizing the ninjutsu scrolls for 3 days because of him. I don't know what contribution he has made, so you can come here directly to view all the scrolls in the clan. A grim-faced elder spoke up, and the Tukchong dagger was now aimed at Uchiha Shinta. Apparently what Uchiha told the ninjas on duty did not hide from them. Clan elder Uchiha Falconto's complexion immediately sank, and the whole person's momentum was released. Glaring fiercely at the elder who made the sound, he took a step back in fright, and then turned his head to stare at Chief Uchiha. Did the Patriarch come here on a special trip to tell me about this today? Patriarch Uchiha was silent for a moment, and nodded yes. Quote. Since you asked directly, Mr. Falcon Fighter Clan, I won't hide it anymore. Clan Elder, you told me the day before yesterday that Shinta-kun is very powerful. In order to train him, you need to teach him some ninjutsu. I have already agreed to this. However, yesterday I heard the report from the ninja on duty at Kangshuge that the Clan Elder, after you have to disclose all ninjutsu to Uchiha Shinta, a third-year student, I had a discussion with several elders. We agree that he is not good enough to enter the library if he has not made enough credit. That's right, those who don't have enough credit can't enter here. The two elders standing behind said in unison under the pressure of Clan Elder Uchiha Hayato. Clan Elder Uchiha Falconto was furious, and immediately reacted. His aura became more and more serious. You guys, the fight for power and profit has reached this point. In order to suppress my prestige, you even dare to obstruct today's affairs. It seems that you have to let you know what is right and wrong. I saw him ignoring the vigilance of the three people in front, turned to Uchiha Shinta and said, Shinta-kun, you are really laughing. I will take care of them and never let them delay you. Uchiha katakana middle dot breaking pond katakana middle dot Shinta looked at the scene in front of him and laughed. It really is worthy of the tradition of Konoha. Why is the clan elder like this? I stay in Konoha and live in Uchiha, and all I care about is my bond. As for the words of some ants, I don't care. Uchiha Shinta stepped towards the interior of Zangshuge. The former Fang Yujibo patriarch and the elders showed fear and fell to the ground one after another, giving way to the road leading to the house. It's just that when I walk forward, I don't look carefully to see if there are insects struggling under my feet. The Uchiha clan elder who was about to make a move remained silent in place, thinking about the message conveyed by Shinta's words. Is it fetters? It seems that the old man is doing well. Come here, send the patriarch and elders to the clan's medical ninja for treatment. Hi. Giving orders to the three ninjas who jumped out, Uchiha chased after Shinta inside the house. Walking into Zangshuge, Uchiha Shinta found that the first floor was like a small bookstore, with ninjutsu, body jutsu, and illusion displayed in different categories. Clan elder Uchiha Falconto catches up and introduces to Shinta. This is the first layer, and it's where the camouflage is. There are some B-level genin techniques, and a fire-style fire-burning technique. Uchiha Shinta picked up a volume at random, which wrote about the improvement and understanding of the fire-style Great Fireball art by a certain Uchiha tribe. Looking at the side, there is an analysis of the principle of Earth-style Tyrone gun. Earth-style Uchiha Shinta is not involved, but from the perspective of fire-style alone, Uchiha Shinta has found that this volume is not rigorous, and there are many mistakes in it that can be further improved. Uchiha waits for Shinta to watch the ninjutsu scroll. After he finished watching and put it down, he led the way to the side again. The real library pavilion in the clan is the first and second floors opened underground through Earth-style ninjutsu, and there is a third floor at the bottom that is a specially set trap layer. With the seal enchantment completely surrounded by the surrounding area, it can ensure no one sneaks in with Earth-style or other ninjutsu. Led by the clan elders, they came to the entrance of a room in the house. Clan elder Uchiha Falconto made seals with both hands and pressed them on the ground. Sealing barrier. Open. As chakra centered on the hand of the clan elder on the ground, circles of black lines of the sealing technique emerged around it, and then there was a bang, white smoke scattered, and there was an extra downward line on the ground at the entrance of the original room. Typical. Shinta-kun, please follow me. Uchiha Hayato went down first, followed by Uchiha Shinta. As the two entered, the tunnel entrance merged abruptly, and the house above returned to its normal style. Uchiha Shinta, who was walking behind, naturally sensed the movement behind him, but he still didn't care about it and continued to walk forward. After walking 2 or 3 steps, the tunnel that was originally thought to be narrow gradually widened. When it is no longer widened, the entire tunnel is about 1.5 meters wide and 2.5 meters high. It is made of stone bricks. Every 2 meters, there are lights on the wall, arranged left and right, reflecting the bright lights. The two walked about 20 to 30 steps, Uchiha stopped and gave way to the passage, and the front suddenly opened up. This is where the ninjutsu scrolls of our clan are stored. It contains all the ninjutsu since the establishment of our Uchiha clan, as well as the ninjutsu analysis left by generations of ninjas who have reached the patriarch level. Uchiha Shinta stepped forward and found that the basement floor looks like a library, but whether it is a bookshelf or a lamp, everything in the room except the scrolls is made of stone, which is completely different from the wooden shelves on the first floor. Down and authentic seem to be the result of the same kind of ninjutsu. Uchiha Hayato didn't pay attention to Shinta's scrutiny, but walked to the side and picked up a sealing scroll placed on the left hand of the entrance and handed it to Uchiha Shinta. This is the classification and location of ninjutsu that I have sorted out in the past 3 days, including the introduction of all ninjutsu on the first and second floors of the basement, as well as the sealing techniques that enter here. Mr. Shinta, you can come in and out freely after learning, and learn any ninjutsu you want to learn according to the catalog. I believe it will satisfy you. Then thank you, clan elder. Uchiha Shinta took the seal scroll from the elder's hand, spread it out on the table and opened it. Boom! A puff of white smoke dispersed, and 8 notebooks and a ninjutsu scroll appeared on the already blank scroll. 7 of them have fire, earth, wind, thunder, water, yin, and yang written on their covers, and the other has 4 big characters, blood succession boundary, written on the cover. Uchiha Shinta pulled out the notebook with the word fire on it, opened it, and flipped through it. In neat fonts, all fire-attributed ninjutsu are arranged in order of ninjutsu level, and those positions are listed with relevant ninjutsu training manuals and detailed analysis. For example, Fire Style Functionwo Technique, C-Level Fire Style Ninjutsu, placed in the second volume of the third row, 7th column on the first basement, and the related ninjutsu practice manuals are in the third row, 7th column to 4th row 3 volumes. Among them, Uchiha Arima, the elder of the clan 100 years ago, has a special study on how to manipulate the direction of the fireball, which is in the 5th volume of the 3rd row, column 10, and can be studied in detail. Fire Style Huahuo Quenching, Class B Fire Style Ninjutsu, placed in volume 5, row 18, 3rd column, basement 1, and related ninjutsu practice manuals are in row 18, 3rd column to 7th column. Among them the experience recorded by the previous patriarch Uchiha Madara is the most exquisite. It is in the 2nd volume of the 6th row of the 18th row, which can be studied in detail. Fire Style Big Fire Dragon Flame Bullet, A-Level Fire Style Ninjutsu, placed in the 7th volume of the 1st row, 1st column on the 2nd basement floor, and the related ninjutsu practice manuals are in the 1st row, 1st column to 2nd column. Among them, the elder Uchiha of the 7th generation is especially good at deepening chakra nature transformation. The 10th volume is in the 1st row, 1st column, and can be studied in detail. Closing the note, Uchiha Shinta was quite moved. Judging from the texture of the notebook and the freshness of the pen and ink, all of these should be sorted out by Uchiha within 3 days, and maybe even use forbidden techniques such as shadow clone. Although it feels a bit redundant, I still thank the elders. These are really useful to me. Ha 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 ha, since it works for you, Shinta, it's the best. Hearing Shinta's thanks, Uchiha Hayato laughed with great satisfaction, and said seriously. Shinta, please slowly study ninjutsu here, I won't bother you, and I have to deal with the patriarch's affairs. But don't worry, I won't let them bother you. Old man, go slowly. Watching the clan elder walk up the stairs, Uchiha Shinta turned around and let out a deep breath. The days of struggle have begun again. From this day on, Uchiha Shinta fell into the time of constantly studying ninjutsu. Even when the ninja school was in class, he entrusted the elders of the clan to help him ask for leave. Isshin sank into the ocean of ninjutsu mystery. He first learns the fire style ninjutsu that he is more familiar with. Starting from the D-level ninjutsu of the Genin level, to the C-level of Chunin, the A-level of Jonin, and various forbidden techniques with large or small side effects collected in the Uchiha clan, all were absorbed by Shinta like a sea of rivers. Displayed on the attribute panel in Shinta's mind. Fire Style Fireball Technique ELV 21-24-100ths. Your fireball technique is natural, and under the extremely strong nature transformation, it burns most of the ninja world's matter, and you can use fireball technique to run amok. Evaluation. Under the 5 fireballs, all beings are equal. Close black lens bracket. Fire style immortal fire technique elf 1724 100ths. Your phoenix fire technique follows you everywhere. You can attack any enemy you find straight, and you can kill with your breath. Evaluation. FFF group needs you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket fire style fire dragon flame bomb LV 2028 100ths. Your fire dragon flame bomb is like a meteorite bombardment. You can use more faucets to create meteor fire rain. Evaluation. Wanlong Chaozong. Close black lens bracket. For all the fire attribute ninjutsu mentioned above, Shinta just watched the ninjutsu scroll once and simulated it in his mind. Combined with the comprehension of fire style dragon fire technique elf 22 inches by analogy, all of them have been raised to LV 15 or above. As Uchiha Shinta practiced more and more fire style ninjutsu, he gradually formed an overall framework concept for fire style ninjutsu in his mind, and the ninjutsu learned in the future was continuously filled into it. The release has a feeling of doing what one wants, and even easily simulates 100 styles ghost burning with a wave of your hand. 3 days later, he finished watching all the fire style ninjutsu, and turned to watch the fire style notes left by his predecessors. While watching, he sometimes deduces according to the notes, directly simulating miniature fire style ninjutsu in his hands, and sometimes uses the body replacement technique to go directly to the valley of the end, and perform his own deduced and improved ninjutsu. Whether it is Uchiha Madara who is known as Ninja Shira, or a clan elder from 100 years ago, or a young Uchiha who just became a Jonin a few years ago, the wisdom they left in the scroll is absorbed by Uchiha Shinta. Half a month later, Uchiha Shinta walked out of Zengshu Pavilion with red eyes. Regardless of the surrounding surprises, he turned into fire, jumped into the sky, broke through the barrier of Konoha and came directly to the top of the clouds. Looking at the vast sea of clouds under his feet reflecting the sparkling waves in the sun, Shinta was in a particularly happy mood. After slowly admiring the wonders that had not been seen for several years, Uchiha Shinta's consciousness sank into his mind. Fire style LV 37 18 100ths. Your fire style is whatever you want. You can manipulate the flames at will and turn into fire. Fire will not harm you. You can use fire to burn most matter in the starry sky. Evaluation. You are the great master who opened the way, and your way lies in the boundless sea of stars. Floating above the sea of clouds facing the sun, Uchiha Shinta reflected on the 20 days of focused practice. At the beginning, Uchiha Shinta didn't plan to integrate all fire styles, he just wanted to find some cool ninjutsu, and then use talents cracking to make these ninjutsu even more cool. After all, if it is a battle, the combination of the strange power technique, that can already, strange power and chaos, and the body replacement technique, that gradually transcends the eighth sense, Shinta will have no problem blowing the blue ball under him with a punch. But who knows that Uchiha Shinta is a handsome man who breaks away from low-level tastes and likes to be stylish. Shinta can assure you that he did not take the road of stomping on ninja villages and punching daimyos out of laziness. Let's get down to business. On the second day of Uchiha Shinta's ninjutsu study, Shinta, who has read nearly 100 fire-style ninjutsu, found that he seemed to have formed a kind of fire style with LV-22's fire-style dragon fire technique as the core. Every time you watch and think about fire-style ninjutsu, this concept becomes more and more perfect. Here I have to point out that although Uchiha Shinta's talent plugin allows him to learn ninjutsu skills at the same level every time he experiences the same level, but the perception gained from the upgrade still exists in Uchiha Shinta's heart, so every time he uses ninjutsu skills so much smooth. When Uchiha Shinta's consciousness sank into the attribute panel in his mind, the name of fire-style dragon fire technique had become vague, and the following evaluation also added a sentence: you are delving into the true meaning of fire style. How could Shinta, who has been baptized by novels in his previous life, not know what happened? Isn't this what every master Kakuzu who is talented enough has to go through? Converting the learned abilities into one's own, in terms of fantasy novels, is to form one's own way. Uchiha Shinta, who was encouraged, naturally plunged into the research of fire-style ninjutsu. After learning ninjutsu, he went to study the notes left by his predecessors to understand their thinking angles and flashpoints of fire style. Even going to Tsunade's yard to abuse food was reluctantly quit. These days, Uchiha Shinta goes out early and returns late every day. Except for the rest time, he devotes himself to the research of fire style. He synthesizes all of Uchiha's fire style, Shinta's thinking about fire and his talent plug-in, and finally succeeds in making Shinta, fire style, edition, was born, and the level reaches LV 30+. Uchiha Shinta originally planned to name this new escape technique Inferno style, after all, it is more handsome. But then I thought about it, Inferno style has been registered by the junior Uchiha Sasuke. Is he Shinta the one who snatched the name of the junior? It is by no means worried about being accused of plagiarism. At the same time, it is also because the nature of the escapism created by Uchiha Shinta is more in line with the title of fire style. The Shinta version of fire style can not only turn into fire, but also use all the fire style ninjutsu that he imagined and saw. When encountering a new flame, as long as Uchiha Shinta can understand the concept of this flame, he can incorporate this flame into your own flame category. And Uchiha Shinta, who pioneered fire style, his understanding of fire is naturally typical. As the sun continues to move westward, the sea of clouds also shines with a golden red luster. Uchiha Shinta, who was staying above the sea of clouds, did not feel hungry, and he who has been able to turn into fire can fully use chakra to meet the consumption of survival. After meditating on the sunlight for a long time, he suddenly raised his hand and pointed, and a golden light shot towards the sea of clouds, directly blasting a large cloud. There was no one around, and Uchiha Shinta suffered another stroke and said in a strange tone. Laser finger pistol. Sure enough, light is also burning fire. Fire style is really scary. Sunset. Uchiha Shinta, who was addicted to the second class in the sky, returned to Konoha, and found that it was past mealtime, and he decided to have some fun, so as to relieve his tense mind for more than 20 days. Body replacement technique field expansion. Uchiha Shinta found many acquaintances, such as Hibiki Inuzuka who was teasing the dog at home, Hyuga Hiyashi who was practicing gentle fist with a straight eye, Hyuga Hazashi who was practicing gentle fist with a glance at his big brother, and squatting on the side of a clay pot to watch the bugs Aburame Shido, Nara who is playing shogi with his father. The people in his mind flashed quickly, and finally Shinta locked on one person. You are the one. Single quote. Tsunade who is playing dice alone. Single quote. It's time to witness your 10-24 game losing streak. Single quote. The reason why you lose so many times is that I often come to you to win. Single quote. Uchiha Laziran Shinta, who has confirmed the candidate, directly uses the body replacement technique to come to Tsunade's gate. Boom, 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 who, knocking on the door indiscriminately made me shake out 3 ones. Tsunade shouted angrily. Me, Uchiha Shinta, I'm here to play cards with you. Uchiha Shinta's voice sounded from outside the door. Then there was a ping bell bang bang in the room, and then Tsunade opened the door directly. So it's Shinta-kun. You haven't been here for a long time. Hurry up, come in with me. It's so boring to play alone. Tsunade complained. Why didn't you bring Nawaki here today? Uchiha Shinta was curious that Tsunade's style today was different from the past. Dang, 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 dang. Nawaki said that he would prepare for the midterm exam in advance, and Grandma told me not to disturb him. Today we are playing dice. Hurry up. Guess is it big or small? Tsunade shook quickly dice, vent all the recent grievances in the dice. Small. Then don't you need to do the task? Uchiha Shinta guessed casually, lying leisurely on the tatami and drinking fruit tea. Then I'll drive. What's the matter? It's really small. Then it's your turn to shake me. I asked for a period of leave with the teacher, and it just so happens that the workload is not too much, so it's okay to take a break. Snapped. The skillful Tsunade raised his hand and stuck a note on his forehead. Suga. Dang, dang, dang. Guess if it's single or double. Uchiha Shinta shook quickly for a few times and then directly covered the dice GU. Single. Why is it double again? Snapped. Tsunade Heim taped a note to her temple. Quote. Comma. The next day, Uchiha Shinta, who played in the Tsunade yard until the early morning, woke up, brought a copy to Senju's door after breakfast. He deftly pushed open the gate in Tsunade's yard. Tsunade, wake up. Let's continue later. I want to challenge 500 consecutive victories today. Exclamation mark. Baga, why did you get up so early? Wait for me, I'll be here right away. I don't believe I can't beat you. Snapped. Uchiha Shinta is happily helping Tsunade quit gambling. Seeing that the class time was approaching, Tsunade asked a question suddenly. Don't you have to go to class? Uchiha Shinta looked at the sky, a little spark flew out of his fingers, and came to the third grade classroom of the ninja school in a blink of an eye. There was a little red light directly outside the door, and it grew into a human being in the wind. It was Uchiha Shinta's appearance. Don't worry, my clone is at school. Uchiha Shinta does not change color. Fire style LV37 flame shaping, plus, body replacement technique L39 shapeshifting and shadow change, plus, clone technique L38 mind in the body. The high level of ninjutsu is so arrogant. He has completely lived a comfortable life with class credits, playing cards by himself, and accompanying Uchiha human cub Makoto every 3 or 2 days. 10 months later, Uchiha Shinta, who stepped up his progress, finally completed the 7-attribute chakra escapism study the day before Uchiha Makoto went to school. He floated above the clouds again, and raised his hand to make chakra balls of different colors, each with 7 different attributes of chakra changes. Chakra. Together. Blood following the snare. Get out. Uchiha Shinta drank. Immediately, the 7 chakra balls merged into one, turning into a black jade-like ball, which was pressed into his chest by Shinta. A ripple flashed. Uchiha Shinta put on a set of white yuya all over his body, with 9 tomo inlaid on his collar, and these 9 black jade-like balls were suspended behind him, and he stretched out his hand to hold it, and a fairy tin staff was held in his hand. This is 6 Paths Uchiha Shinta. Above the blue sky. 6 Paths Uchiha Shinta thought, and a light curtain rippled in front of him, reflecting his current appearance. He suddenly frowned. It's not right. This templated outfit can't show my handsomeness at all. Uchiha Shinta thought for a long time before the light curtain suddenly stretched out his hand to wipe his chest, and the 9 tomo on the collar disappeared. After the tin stick paused, the upper ring lock disappeared, and the ring was converted into a crescent moon. The color of the 9 truth-seeking balls at the back changes, and half of them are dyed pure white. After the change, Uchiha Shinta faced the light curtain, slightly adjusted the rotation angle of the 9 truth-seeking balls at the rear, and nodded with satisfaction. This is in line with my temperament. The light curtain shows a handsome young man wearing pure white fairy feathers, holding a crescent moon victory scepter. 9 yin and yang fishes are symmetrically distributed in a circle on the back, and rotate around the back of the head at a constant speed. The image of a gentleman. After appreciating the image for a while, Uchiha Shinta took note of the outfit, then cancelled the 6 Paths mode status, and stepped out to the door of Uchiha Makoto's house. Before stepping into the school hell, Uchiha Shinta intends to accompany this little girl who is full of oni sauce. Boom, boom, boom. Uchiha Shinta knocked on the door and shouted loudly. Makoto, open the door. Oni-chan picked you up to play. Tap, 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 squeak. There was a sound of clogs trampling on the floor from far to near, and then the door opened, and Uchiha Makoto, who still had foam on his head, stuck his head out and greeted with a childish voice. Oni-chan, I'm still washing my hair. Mom said I have to dress up before going out. Immediately after Makoto came the sound of slightly hurried footsteps, and Makoto's mother walked over quickly. Makoto, don't run around while washing your hair. It's Shinta-kun. Come in and sit down. Makoto won't be ready for a while. Makoto, come with me and wash your hair. Watching Uchiha Makoto being dragged away by her mother with a smile on her face, Shinta responded. Aunt, don't worry too much. Dress up Makoto slowly and beautifully. Mom, wash my hair. Makoto's urging voice came from afar. Uchiha Shinta found a comfortable chair and sat down. His consciousness sank into his mind, reviewing the achievements of the past 10 months of practice. Open black lens bracket name. Uchiha Shinta close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket age. 8 years old close black lens bracket. Energy. Chakra 8,191,036, 6 paths level standard chakra 500,000 minus 30 million. Open black lens bracket skill. Clone technique L42, 84 100ths, your mind spreads in the world, and the clone is not limited to the shape, you can turn everything into a clone. You have seen through the true self and realized yourself. Evaluation. Heaven and earth live side by side with me, and all things are unique to me. Transformation technique L41, 32 100ths, your transformation technique can gradually enter the concept field, and you can use the original owner's ability to a certain extent after changing your body shape. Evaluation. Who am I? Who am I? Body replacement technique L45, 70 100ths, your body replacement technique has reached the realm of the 9 senses. When one thought arises and one thought stops, you become the god of the universe. Evaluation. Change all over the world, become a substitute. Fire style LV43, 1 100th, you are the spirit of fire and the lord of fire. You can create new fires, and you can master all fires that have already appeared. Evaluation. Fire is the cornerstone of the world. Wind style LV43, 1 100th, you are the spirit of the wind and the master of the wind. The wind is movement, you control the change, and you also control the change. Evaluation. Wind is the cornerstone of the world. Water style LV43, 1 100th, you are the spirit of water and the master of water. Under the moist water, you accommodate everything in the world and dissolve everything in the world. Evaluation. Water is the cornerstone of the world. Earth style LV43, 1 100th, you are the spirit of the earth and the lord of the earth. You are the symbol of incorruptibility and the appearance of matter. Evaluation. Soil is the cornerstone of the world. Lightning style LV43, 1 100th, you are the spirit of thunder and the master of thunder. Yin and yang combine to form, all transformations set the foundation. Thunder's destruction and creation are in your mind. Evaluation. Ray is the cornerstone of the world. Yang Dun LV44, 26 100ths, you can make people out of clay and transform all spirits. The symbol of your life, the creator of life. Evaluation. Immortality, immortality. Yin Dun LV45, 34 100ths, you open up the world in the illusion and transform the reality. You are the master of illusion. Illusory true form. Evaluation. True and false, false and false, true and false and false and true. Physique strange power LV47, 53 100ths, your strange power has been integrated into chakra's instinct, and the increase in strength has become more and more significant. As you use chakra more, you can increase power exponentially. Evaluation. 3000 ways, the best in strength. Chakra refining technique LV13, 3 100ths, your thoughts are carried out forever in chakra. You and chakra become one and can transform into each other. You can use extremely powerful ninjutsu with very little chakra. Evaluation. Ba Cha Tunla. Close black lens bracket. Overall evaluation. Why does Kami in the new era stay in the world? Close black lens bracket. For 10 months, Uchiha Shinta has practiced diligently. Whenever I play cards with Tsunade, I don't forget to separate out a fire clone to go to class. After class, the fire clone goes to the library of the Uchiha clan to read and practice ninjutsu. And while Tsunade was doing missions and practice, Uchiha Shinta just returned home to rest or play with Uchiha Makoto in Konoha. It can be described as an achievement that has only been achieved after untold hardships and hardships. Uchiha Shinta is full of harvest. In this process, because fire style is the first achievement, Uchiha Shinta has enough understanding in chakra and art. When learning other ninjutsu, by analogy, let other attribute ninjutsu be raised to above LV5 after watching it once. After the completion of other escape techniques, the fire style ninjutsu has been improved. It is precisely because of the Matryoshka that can continue to weaken and decrease, all of Uchiha Shinta's escape techniques have reached LV40 or above. After a while, Uchiha Shinta sensed that Makoto had finished dressing up and was quietly walking towards him. In a heartbeat, Shinta plans to give Makoto a present. He stretched out his right hand, the power of yin and yang good fortune was activated, the space in the palm was distorted, a tiny phantom suddenly appeared in the palm, and then gradually solidified, suspended in midair, the surrounding space condensed into a ball, wrapped in a layer of crystal glass. Looking intently, there is an ultra-tiny island with green mountains and green waters, singing birds and fragrant flowers. There are magnificent waterfalls, clusters of strange rocks, and strange peaks. Occasionally, several fire phoenixes can be seen hovering above it, screaming endlessly, and 2 real dragons are wandering endlessly on the cliff, without seeing their heads and tails. A strange ape climbs the forest and screams at the moon, and the 9-tails white fox sleeps in it. A wild scene. Uchiha Shinta specially controlled the manifestation level of this small island to 90%, keeping the various species inside in a state of mechanized procedures, and reincarnated every other year to prevent the internal creatures from giving birth to intelligence. Hey, what is Ernie-chan playing? While Shinta was debugging the reincarnation system of the crystal glass ball in his hand, Uchiha Makoto suddenly appeared and shouted in his ear. Uchiha Shinta, who pretended not to notice Makoto, shook his hand, and the crystal glass ball flew up and was caught by Uchiha Makoto. She put her face on the crystal ball and looked inside. Ah, what is this? It's so beautiful inside. A dragon is moving. This is Shinta Oni-chan's gift to the obedient Makoto. But Makoto was not good just now, and Oni-chan suddenly doesn't want to give it. Uchiha Shinta pretended to be angry and laughed. No, Makoto will be good. Makoto apologizes to Oni-chan. Oni-chan, give this ball to Makoto, please. Uchiha Makoto, who likes this crystal glass ball very much, immediately used the 36 tricks of coquettishness, and launched a charm attack on Uchiha Shinta with star eyes. The Shinta was breached, leaking water. Okay, but Oni-chan, I have to see how good Makoto is before I give it to you. Quote. After some frolic, Uchiha Shinta and Makoto stepped out of the house. Oni-chan, where are we going to play today? Makoto happily walked ahead holding the crystal ball, turning around to urge Shinta to speed up from time to time. Makoto, is there anywhere you want to go? You start school tomorrow, so I can take you anywhere today. Uchiha Shinta paced slowly behind, smiling as she watched the little loli jumping in front of her. Is it that good? I thought it could only be the same as usual. In this case, let me think about it. Uchiha Makoto stopped, stretched out his small hand and dragged his chin, his eyes rolled and fell into thinking. Ah, I thought of it. Makoto began to point her little fingers to where she wanted to go today. Today I'm going to eat 3-color balls, amaryllis, and ichiraku ramen. There are also mask stalls, watching little turtles and rabbits, playing with paper nets to catch small fish, and making hoops. And go fishing in Konoha Reservoir, watch the sunset on Hokage Rock. Counting, Uchiha Makoto, who found that his fingers were not enough, looked up at Shinta, and his tone became a little aggrieved. Oni-chan, there are so many places I want to go, I can't count them all. Can I go separately tomorrow? Ha 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 ha. Uchiha Shinta couldn't help laughing at Makoto's pitiful look. Since Makoto wants to go, of course you can. He raised his hand and tapped Makoto's forehead with a smile on his face, and emphasized instead. But tomorrow is your first day of school, so don't skip class. Oni-chan will take you there after class. Hey, one Oni sauce is the best. Uchiha Makoto raised his hands, cheered and pulled Shinta to the commercial street. Konoha Village Commercial Street. Sell meatballs. Sweet and delicious 3-color meatballs. Guest, do you want to look at the medicinal materials? The dried and high-quality medicinal materials. Candied haws. Crystal clear, sweet and crunchy candied haws. Selling masks. There are foxes, rabbits, and bears. There are Daitengu, Shutenduji, Tamamome, and Trickster. Uchiha Makoto is holding a crystal glass ball in his left hand and a string of 3-color meatballs in his right. Standing in front of a mask stand, he looks at all kinds of masks intently. The middle-aged boss behind the stall greeted. Guest, are you taking your sister out to play? Buy her a favorite mask. Children like these now. Let's take a look first. Uchiha Shinta nodded to the stall owner, watching the little loli in front of him read all the masks. Makoto, have you seen that one you particularly like? Hearing Shinta's inquiry, Uchiha Makoto raised his finger to the middle. Oni-chan, this Tamamo front mask is so beautiful. The stall owner immediately praised. Little sister, good eyesight. This is the most beautiful mask on my stall. Look at its pattern, it was drawn by a master from the land of fire. I'm looking at the wood, it's a high-quality snow mountain wood from the land of iron. Uchiha Shinta didn't hear right, and looked closely. The boss in front of him was the one who sold him the mask last time. See chapter 31, Tsunade, who didn't have enough funds, took me into the casino to make money and immediately interrupted him with Black Line's long speech. Boss, I remember you said the same thing when you sold me the cat face mask last time. Isn't everyone blowing like that? Ah ha ha, ha ha, so it's a regular customer. The stall owner scratched his head in embarrassment. It may be that this kind of scene happens too often, so I will explain it immediately. But guest, I'm not lying. I bought all these masks from the land of fire. Their wood is indeed imported from the land of iron. And look at these painters, they are really exquisite. After finishing speaking, the stall owner brought the topic to Uchiha Makoto again. Since this little sister likes it so much, for the sake of regular customers, I'll give you a 20% discount. Makoto, who had been listening quietly, touched Shinta's hand with his shoulder, motioned him to lower his head, covered his mouth and whispered in his ear. Oni sauce. This feels like a black shop. Let's not buy from him. Uchiha Shinta looked at Makoto saying that he would not buy it, but still secretly looked at the mask in front of Tamamo from time to time, and couldn't help laughing. He also lowered his head to Makoto's ear. If Makoto likes it, I'll buy it. Oni-chan won't be tricked by the boss of a black shop. Really, it doesn't matter if you don't buy it. Hearing Shinta's whisper, Uchiha Makoto immediately turned his head to look at him, and said with a little embarrassment. Uchiha Shinta nodded to Makoto, walked to the booth, and took off the two masks of Tamamo Mei and Slippery Ghost. Boss, I bought this, Yamazao Mei, and by the way, I will build a Slick Ghost, which is still 20% off the Tamazamo Mei. If we can, we will buy it, but if we can't, forget it. The mask stall owner gritted his teeth in confusion, made a quick calculation in his mind, and nodded to Shinta. Okay, it's taking care of old customers. But next time you buy a mask, you still have to come to me. Uchiha Shinta took Tamamo Mei to Makoto, and paid the bill with the stall owner. Don't worry, I'll definitely introduce you to a few more businesses. After collecting the money, the stall owner smiled and greeted Shinta, who turned away. That's right, more guests will come in the future. Uchiha Shinta and Makoto turned and walked down the shopping street. After walking a few steps, Shinta looked sideways at Makoto holding a three-color meatball skewer in one hand and a crystal ball in the other while holding Tamamo Mei, in a naive manner, walked up to her and squatted down. Makoto, let me put the mask on for you. Okay, thank you Oni-chan. The little loli responded sweetly, tilting her head to let Uchiha Shinta tie the mask on the side of her head. Shinta adjusted the angle of the lower mask, otherwise it would prevent Makoto from eating. Then she looked at the simulated Wagwo mountain in her hand. Would you like to bring the crystal ball to O'Neill for you first? It's not convenient to eat. Makoto immediately turned sideways and hid the crystal ball behind him. No, it's a gift from Oni-chan. And it's so light, I'm going to hold it all the time today. Uchiha Shinta shook his head, nodded to Makoto's head, and casually put the Slit Ghost mask on his face. You, take it with you. If it's inconvenient, you can hold it for me. After all, the interior of this magnificent mountain of flowers and fruits is a product of illusion, and the crystal glass on its surface is also extremely small in quality under Uchiha Shinta's settings, so Makoto will not be afraid of being tired if she holds it all the time. Yeah, Oni-chan, let's go there to see the little rabbit. The little one is so cute. Okay, Makoto, walk slowly, be careful not to fall. Haha, Shinta Oni-chan, hurry up. Quote. Comma. Amid Makoto's laughter, the time quickly came to the afternoon. Seeing that the sun was about to set, Uchiha Shinta finished shopping with Makoto and strolled to Hokage Rock. The two stood side by side on top of third generation's head, watching the whole village glow with golden light in the setting sun. Uchiha Shinta raised his hand, pointing to the golden sun at this moment, and asked. Makoto, do you think the sun is beautiful now? Yeah, the sunset is beautiful, thank you, Shinta Oni-chan. Under the setting sun, Uchiha Makoto's eyes glowed. At home, I like to watch the fiery red clouds in the evening, but usually because it's time for dinner at this point, I can't climb Hokage Rock. But at home, most of the clouds are blocked, and it's gone. So I always wanted to go to Hokage Rock to see the sunset here is really beautiful. Is it? Then Makoto, do you want to catch up with the sun and see more beautiful clouds? Uchiha Shinta smiled and looked at the satisfied Makoto, and without waiting for her reply, raised his hand to her forehead. A stream of chakra poured into Uchiha Makoto's body, and under Shinta's control, a pair of transparent wings formed behind her. Uchiha Makoto felt the connection between chakra and the wings on his back, subconsciously manipulated the wings and flapped them twice, and the whole person floated slightly. Shinta Oni-chan. She looked at Uchiha Shinta with a puzzled look, and was met with an encouraging look in return. An idea passed along chakra into her heart. Makoto, according to your thoughts and chakra's induction, fly towards the sky, chasing the setting sun and Luyun. This is a gift from Oni-chan. Will Shinta Oni-chan follow? As I said before, Oni-chan will always be by Makoto's side. Uchiha Makoto nodded and tried to fly with her wings. With the help of chakra, she circled twice in the air about 3 meters above the ground, and quickly became proficient in the feeling of flying. Noni-chan, I'll go first. Hurry up and follow. Uchiha Makoto, who was still a little scared, told Shinta, turned his head to look at the sunset with only a little twilight left, and made up his mind, flapping his wings and flying towards the direction of the setting sun. Uchiha Shinta looked at Makoto's actions and showed a relieved smile. The reason why I still stay in the world is because I want to see this will to pursue my dreams all the time. Single quote. Shinta jumped up and flew at high speed in the direction Makoto left. High altitude. Uchiha Shinta easily caught up with Makoto, who looked back from time to time, maintaining a relatively static speed with her. Makoto, I followed up as promised. Yeah, I knew O'Neil would follow right away. Uchiha Makoto, who quickly transformed into a smiling face, flapped his wings and flew around Shinta non-stop, laughing like silver bells. Haha, flying is really fun, but Oni-chan, why don't you have wings? As Makoto flies around Shinta, she quickly discovers the inconsistency between her and Shinta. Uchiha Shinta smiled, and Chakra's wings also grew from his back, and the wings of Makoto, who was flying beside him, met and staggered from time to time. Look, Makoto, aren't these my wings? Uchiha Makoto leaned closer and took a closer look behind Shinta. It turns out that this is how my wings grow. Oni-chan is amazing. Ha 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 ha. Makoto, come with me. I'll take you to a better place to see the clouds. Uchiha Shinta, who enjoys adoring so much, laughs. He looked at the setting sun that had only grown a little bit, and beckoned Makoto to fly up. Oni-chan, wait for me. Uchiha Makoto fluttered his wings and followed Shinta upwards, breaking through the 3 layers of clouds all the way, and under the protection of the chakra transmitted by Shinta, he came to the stratosphere above the sea of clouds. After breaking through the sea of clouds, what I saw was golden. In Konoha, watching the sun that has sunk down the mountain reappear in midair. The layers of clouds below are like tides, constantly surging, reflecting golden red in the setting sun, spreading to the end of the distance. Looking up, there is nothing above, and the vast blue-black sky makes people feel the greatness of the universe. Wow, so beautiful. Shocked by the unprecedented scenery, Uchiha Makoto stared at everything in front of him with his eyes wide open. His mouth was always opened in an O shape, and he even forgot to wave the wings on his back, just suspended in the air under the influence of that chakra. In Makoto's consciousness, as if after a long time, and just for a moment, Shinta's voice came to his ear. How about it? The clouds here are more beautiful. Uchiha Makoto, who came back to his senses, flapped his wings, turned around and looked at Uchiha Shinta tenderly, with chakra fluctuating on his body. Oni sauce. Thank you. Thank you for accompanying me out of the house when I was lonely. Thank you for accompanying me around Konoha. Thank you for watching the sunset with me. Thank you for taking me to the blue sky. It is said that the Sage of 6 Paths passed down chakra, allowing people to communicate and understand each other. Then chakra should be able to grasp the thanks and pass it on to Oni-chan. Single quote. It seems that out of girlish reserve, Uchiha Makoto doesn't want to verbally say what's in his heart. But she didn't know how to use chakra to convey information, so she could only clumsily use her own chakra in her body to touch the chakra transmitted by Shinta, hoping to succeed once. Uchiha Shinta, whose mind is completely integrated with chakra, shielded Makoto from his own induction, and looked at Uchiha Makoto in front of him with a complicated expression. Really, silly girl. Single quote. I should thank you. Quote. The me who came here, anchored myself through you, otherwise, no matter how strong the talent is, the me who lost me will never be me again. Uchiha Shinta recalled the scene when the body replacement technique was upgraded to LV40. 8 a.m. Uchiha Shinta was already playing cards with her in the Tsunade yard. Seeing that it was almost time for class, he flicked his fingers and flew out a spark, crossed half of Konoha, and landed at the gate of the ninja school and turned into a doppelganger. At the same time, I feel the dramatic improvement of my clone technique from LV39 100/100ths to LV40 1/100th. Between Setsuna, Uchiha Shinta only felt that his thoughts continued to spread to the surroundings, from the plants and trees in the Tsunade courtyard, the poker on the table, to the statues on the Hokage rock in the distance, the flowing water of the Valley of the End, and the water splashing from the shore of the Land of Water. The waves, and even the soil on the moon on the back of the planet, and the flames on the great eastern sun. Uchiha Shinta is intoxicated. Every object in his senses is like the main body, turning itself into the whole world, and it is constantly running with a grand law. But as the thoughts spread wider and wider, the ignorant Uchiha Shinta's mind became slower and slower due to the upgrade of the clone technique in his mind. Something's wrong. Let me think. I'm, Uchiha Shinta. I traveled to Hokage world. I am here. Practice ninjutsu. Subconsciously feeling something wrong, he began to recall his past, trying to wake up. But in the past few days, Uchiha Shinta has always felt alienated from the world. The existing feeling of being in it but dissociated from it fits perfectly with that sense of indifference and alienation, and his thoughts are turning more and more slowly. Until, I'm done. Practice ninjutsu. I met Uchiha Makoto. Uchiha Shinta, who was keenly aware of Uchiha Makoto's familiarity, was suddenly awakened. As if waking up suddenly from a dream, the thoughts that keep spreading outward have realized the self, and since then no matter how wide the spread is, they will not lose themselves. Uchiha Shinta, who came to his senses, felt a wave of fear. If I hadn't met Uchiha Makoto and been attracted by the cute human cubs, would I have continued to practice ninjutsu after shopping and remained indifferent to the world? In that case, I will upgrade myself super fast, but the current self is very likely to become an ignorant standard, kami. What a thrill! Uchiha Shinta breathed a sigh of relief. Glancing at the unfeeling Tsunade in front of him, he raised his hand and hit a pair. To 7. Take the card. Tsunade. I won again. Stickers. Snapped. Why did you win again? I clearly calculated that your card is a pair of 4, so I should have won. Tsunade, who admits the bet, has no awe of kami at all, but suspects that Shinta is cheating. In this regard, Shinta, who used the body replacement technique to change cards to solve Tsunade's bad luck, is not credited. I'm just lucky. Let's start the next game. Cut. Uchiha Shinta came back to his senses, raised his hand and touched Makoto's head. Shinta Oni-chan will keep Makoto happy. It's a promise. Uchiha Makoto held the crystal ball with one hand, and raised the other hand to hold down the big hand on his head. As long as Oni-chan is with me, Makoto will be very happy. But Oni-chan, do you want to hear my story? Yes, I do. Before, I stayed at home. Above the sea of clouds, the shadows of Uchiha Shinta and Makoto are drawn very long by the setting sun. The passing of Senju Hashirama of Konoha village first generation symbolizes the complete end of the era of twin gods of the ninja world. The highest combat power on the bright side of the entire ninja world has suddenly dropped from driving Gundam, Ola Ola, to cutting each other down to the point where everyone can form ninjutsu obediently together. The fighting power of the 5 great ninja villages has been balanced all of a sudden. The desperate resistance of any ninja village can cause another ninja village to be severely damaged from recovery. It is precisely because of this that the minds of the major ninja villages that have been suppressed by Senju Hashirama's nuclear peace for nearly 2 decades have suddenly become active. The Kingdom of Thunder covets the territory of the Fire of Fire. There is a feud between the land of earth and the land of water. Due to its sparse population, barren land, and weak economy, the land of winds in the wind and sand has devoted itself to development under the leadership of the second-generation Samana, militarized one-tailed Jinchuriki, led the whole village to develop puppet art and magnet-style ninjutsu, and fully developed armaments waiting for the right time. The agreement between the 5 major powers is gradually falling apart. The First Ninja World War broke out naturally. In this war, the 5 ninja villages were severely damaged. The recorded second-generation shadows of Konoha, Cloud Shinobi, Duin, and Mist Shinobi all died in this battle due to various reasons. The First Ninja World War gradually subsided when the ninja village lost the strongest combat power. After the war, under the joint promotion of the major ninja villages' third generation who have personally experienced the dangers of war, the 5 major powers concluded a truce treaty, winning nearly 2 decades of peace for the ninja world again. Uchiha Makoto is a child of an ordinary ninja family born after the First Ninja War. After she was born, Konoha village was in the period of high-speed recovery after the war. The extreme spare tasks made the ninjas of Konoha village happy to run around every day. But Uchiha Makoto has not experienced the shadow of war like his parents, nor can he understand the value of peace by nature. Since she was conscious, she only saw the busyness at home. Father is often not at home because of work, and every time he comes back, he stays in a hurry and then goes back. In terms of familiarity, he is not even as familiar as the owner of the stall on Konoha Commercial Street. Although my mother is at home every day, she often goes out to chat with Kyoko aunt and the others. If she doesn't understand, she can only play alone beside her. Gradually, she got used to moving up a small stool by herself, sitting and watching the startled deer, ringing all afternoon. However, the well-behaved Makoto also has his own little thoughts and didn't tell his mother. She could hear her mother tossing and turning before going to sleep, and hear her mother calling her father's name softly in her sleep. She also wanted to have someone who could often accompany her to play and take her to kill the boredom of time. She had been looking forward to it so much, until that morning, when she planned to come to see Uchiha Shinta, she met this boy who cared for her. Everything is as beautiful as the sunshine that morning. This is Uchiha Makoto's little melancholy. It's not enough to worry about the country and the people, nor is it ambitious, it's just a longing for a better life. Uchiha Shinta listened to Makoto's words with soft eyes. He didn't feel that Makoto's mind was ridiculous, it was a normal teenager's mind in peaceful times. Uchiha Shinta is the one who can understand it the most, because in his previous life he was also such a young man who lived in peace. Under the afterglow of the setting sun, the hearts of the two became closer. It wasn't until Uchiha Makoto's story was finished that Shinta stroked her hair comfortingly. Makoto's story has a happy ending. Oni-chan, I will let this happy ending continue. Immediately, Shinta pointed to the golden sea of clouds in the distance. But I hope that Makoto will always be like today, able to muster up the courage to chase the sun. Because this is how you can grasp your own sunset. Uchiha Makoto nodded firmly to Shinta, raised his right hand and waved, a strand of bangs on his forehead fluttered in the wind. Well, I will work hard, and I will definitely catch up with Oni-chan. At that time, I will catch up with happiness by myself. Ha 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 ha, come on, Makoto. Uchiha Shinta laughed and gave Makoto a thumbs up for his belief. I hate it, Oni-chan. What's the point of laughing? I'm so happy for Makoto's appearance. HMPH, I'm ignoring you. Oni-chan, let's keep flying forward and catch up with the sun. Then Makoto, let's compete to see who is faster. Quote. Time passed. The sun above the sea of clouds is getting lower and lower. After chasing the sunset for a while, Uchiha Shinta and Makoto landed from the air to the training ground around Konoha village with full of joy. Oni-chan, shall we go home? Mom must be waiting impatiently. Makoto looked at the completely dark surroundings, and pulled Shinta's hand worriedly. Wasn't Makoto very happy just now? Why did he suddenly think of his mother? Shinta teased, manipulating chakra and causing the wings to turn into bits of starlight and dissipate. Oni-chan, I mean it. Uchiha Makoto stamped his feet anxiously. Seeing that she was really worried, Uchiha Shinta, who stopped teasing her, comforted triumphantly. Don't worry, I told your mother when I left in the morning. We won't go back until evening. So don't be afraid. Oni-chan is amazing. Uchiha Makoto jumped up happily, but heard Shinta's seduction again. Then how about we go for some late-night snacks? To celebrate the start of school tomorrow for you, Makoto. Uchiha Makoto rubbed his belly, swallowed and shook his head. Oni-chan, I don't want it anymore, I'm still full from the Ichiraku ramen I had in the afternoon. And my mother said, don't eat too much, you will become super fat. Ha ha. Uchiha Shinta couldn't help laughing as he watched Makoto raise his index finger and the scholar mother was lecturing. In that case, Makoto, let's go home. I'll record today's supper for you next time. Oni sauce is the best. Uchiha Makoto immediately happily followed Shinta's pace and walked towards the house. Makoto starts school tomorrow, let me go with you. Okay, I'm going to school with Oni-chan. Hehe. Makoto, don't stay in bed and forget about it. No way, I get up early every day. Then keep it up. Oni-chan is waiting for you to call me to school. I will. Quote. Chapter 51. The next day, Uchiha Shinta woke up early. After washing up, I went directly to Uchiha Makoto's house. Boom, boom, boom. As Makoto awake, I came to school with you. Uchiha Shinta knocked on the door, and Makoto answered loudly from inside. Oni-chan, I'm ready, I'm leaving now. Da, 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 da. There was a rush of footsteps rushing towards the door opened with a squeak, and a little loli in a floral dress jumped out. Oni-chan, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Ahaha, I thought I had woken up early. It seems that I really need Makoto to call me to school in the future. Uchiha Shinta scratched his head for keeping the lovely Uchiha Makoto waiting for so long, and was about to say hello and let it go. Makoto woke up before dawn this morning. She said she would go to school with Shinta Oni-chan. Makoto's mother, wearing a new red dress, followed out the gate today. Even as a mother, I'm so jealous. She has never liked being with me so much. What a shabby little padded jacket. Hearing that his mother was pretending to be angry, Uchiha Makoto hurried forward and stuffed his little hand into his mother's big hand. Makoto also likes being with his mother very much. I was afraid that my mother would worry when I saw it was dark last night. Hehe. But there is no worry before it gets dark, right? While bickering with Makoto, Makoto's mother beckons Shinta to set off together. Shinta-kun, let's go together, we are already ready. Yeah, Oni-chan, you go this way. The clever Makoto immediately held Uchiha Shinta with the other hand, and he was sandwiched between one left and one right. Makoto, have you had breakfast? Uchiha Shinta took Makoto's left hand and walked forward, looking left and right, ready to find a breakfast stand to comfort Wuzang Temple. We made rice balls. Shinta-kun, do you want to eat them? I heard that you will go to school with Makoto yesterday, so I specially reserved them for you. Makoto's mother handed over a warm lunch box. Uchiha Shinta took it with one hand, and found that his right hand was holding Makoto, and he couldn't reach out to pick it up. Shinta-kun, do you want me to help you? It's very inconvenient to hold Makoto. Makoto's mother on the right looked like she was enjoying the show, but suddenly felt the hand holding Makoto tugging. Mom, let me help Oni-chan. Then Oni-chan can hold my hand. Noticing Shinta's inconvenience, Uchiha Makoto quickly broke away from holding his mother's hand, and raised the lunchbox in Shinta's hand. Oni-chan, I'll help you hold it. Uchiha Shinta naturally did not refuse Makoto's kindness, and picked up a rice ball from the lunchbox after handing it over. Well, it's glutinous rice balls. Aunt's craftsmanship is really good. Faced with Shinta's praise, Makoto's mother next to her was a little unhappy. It's so cold. It's a pity that my little padded jacket is leaking. Mom, I'll hold your hand as soon as I wait. Just wait for me. Makoto comforted like a little adult, making the two people beside him couldn't help but smile at each other. After Uchiha Shinta finished eating the glutinous rice balls, he took Uchiha Makoto by the hand, and the three walked slowly together. Makoto happily looked around on the road, asking questions. Apparently, she doesn't have a particular desire to go to school, she just wants to be with her mom and Uchiha Shinta. As they got closer to the ninja school, the three of them encountered more and more students, swarming down the Hokage rock like ants returning home. No matter where you are on the day of the school season, it is so lively. Uchiha Shinta and Makoto's mother took Makoto's hand and lined up to the ninja school registration office. Teacher Chunin, who was in charge of registration, looked up at the youngest Uchiha Makoto, smiled kindly at her, and asked for her information. Name, Uchiha Makoto. Age, 6 years old. Do you have any ninja foundation? Refined chakra. It is good. After Mr. Chunin's waistcoat completed the registration, he handed a note to Uchiha Makoto. This is your registration form, take it with you. After going in, follow the teacher's instructions to the playground. There will be a special lecture from Mr. Hokage. After listening to the lecture, you will be tested for class placement, and the registration form will be handed over to the teacher after class placement. After seeing Makoto nod, he looked up at Shinta and Makoto's mother again. Family members are not allowed to go to school. From now on, we must cultivate children's sense of independence. Also, you're in the 3rd year. No, shouldn't it be Uchiha Shinta in the 4th year? Shinta looked up suspiciously and asked. It's me, teacher, do you know me? Teacher Chunin Vest laughed. Of course, Tengchongda has been praising you as the best student in ninja school. I just happened to see it once, you are so destructive in the class battle. You will definitely become a powerful ninja in the future. Hehe, thank you teacher Jian. Let's go there first. Uchiha Six Paths Shinta smiled slightly, and pulled Makoto and her mother to the nearby swing, watching Makoto's mother giving instructions. After Makoto enters, please listen to the teacher carefully. Don't argue with your classmates. If you are being bullied, tell the teacher immediately, or you're Shinta Oni-chan. Makoto's mother glanced at Shinta, got a positive nod, and breathed a sigh of relief. Quote. Finally, Mom will come back to pick you up after school, don't be afraid. Seeing that the deadline for registration was approaching and there were fewer and fewer people around, Makoto's mother reluctantly pushed Uchiha Makoto to Shinta. Shinta-kun, Makoto is counting on you. Please take good care of her. Makoto's mother looked serious, folded her hands on her belly, and leaned forward to bow to Shinta. With a thought of Uchiha Shinta, an illusion controlled her so that she could not move, but it did not affect her subjective consciousness, and it was released immediately after a while. Don't worry, Aunt, I will protect Makoto. Is this an illusion? Shinta-kun, you really turned on Sharingan. What a genius. Interrupted by Uchiha Shinta's illusion just now, Makoto's mother finally broke away from her daughter's panic about going to school, and teased Shinta with the nature. Then Aunt, let's go first. Goodbye, Mom. Seeing Makoto's mother back to normal, Uchiha Shinta walks into the school gate with Makoto. In the rear, Makoto's mother stood and waited until she was nowhere to be seen. Konoha Shinobi's school playground. The registration period for this year's ninja school has ended, and the rows of small stools placed in advance on the playground are full of elementary school students around 6 years old sitting on them. The presentation of Third Hokage will start here. Uchiha Shinta stood at the entrance with Makoto, tiptoed to find 2 vacant connected seats, sat down together, and waited patiently for the main field to begin. As for lessons from Shinta's own class, when I walked to the fork of the teaching building and the playground just now, Uchiha Shinta had already stepped out of a clone from his body and walked towards the current 4th grade classroom. Praise for the clone technique. The perfect skill for skipping class. As the leader of Konoha village, Sarutobi Hiruzen of 3rd generation usually comes to the school to give a speech when the new students enter the ninja school and when the old students graduate. Of course, when he is free, he will come to the school to supervise the educational achievements from time to time, and occasionally improvise to encourage students and teachers. However, once in a while means seldom. Uchiha Shinta has been traveling for a year, and has never encountered a speech for the purpose of 3rd generation. I just vaguely recalled in my memory that when I was in the 1st grade, someone wearing a royal robe said something on the playground. Therefore, Shinta also regrets that he has not seen the long-known will of fire with his own eyes. Accompanying Makoto this time, he just got what he wanted. Where the leaves dance, so does the fire. The fire will continue to illuminate the village and cause new leaves to sprout. This sentence is the key to Hokage's ninja out of the circle. While thinking wildly and teasing Makoto, Uchiha Shinta suddenly looked up. On the podium built on the playground, 2 people slowly walked up, and there were more than 10 chakra sensing points around the playground. The first person to walk onto the podium had a black mustache on his chin, short hair sticking up like hairspray, and wearing a Hokage exclusive royal robe. Ah, it's Master Hokage. Yes, I saw it too. Soda, did you see that? Hokage-sama is smiling at me. HMPH. What's the matter? I met Hokage-sama on the street before, and he greeted me. Quote. His appearance brought cheers from the children below, and the audience was noisy. Another ninja school teacher who came on stage quickly shouted into the microphone. Quiet, be quiet, everyone. Master Hokage is about to speak. Please be quiet, everyone. Quote. Obviously, his efforts are in vain. If a kid who just started school can settle down so easily, can he still be called a sacred beast? When he yelled at that side, it was quiet for a while, and when he looked away, it immediately became noisy again. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the commotion in the field, but smiled instead. He patted the shoulder of the teacher who was afraid of shouting, and reached out to take the microphone from his hand. Keigo, let me come. He walked to the middle of the podium and coughed twice. Ahem. Hi, everyone. I am Sarutobi Hiruzen, the third generation of the village. I am also your principal. He looked around, looking at Uchiha Shinta who was sitting calmly next to Makoto for a second longer. Today, it's your school day. When you come to the school, you will experience hard study, get extraordinary growth, and after passing the graduation exam, you will become ninjas. I came here today, and I also want to chat with you future, little ninjas, about ninjas. Is it good? It is good. There was a loud response from off the court. As a child who grew up in Konoha village, the topic of ninja that Sarutobi Hiruzen said really tickled their itch. Even Uchiha Madara Makoto subconsciously corrected his sitting posture. Sarutobi Hiruzen asked a question under the surrounding field of vision. So, what do you think is a ninja? Akamaiki girl sitting in the first row, you answer first. Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly pointed to a fat little loli who was eating in the front row. Crack, crack, Master Hokage. A ninja is someone who can endure hunger. Hearing this novel answer, the corner of Sarutobi Hiruzen's mouth twitched. As expected of the daughter of the Akamaiki family. Single quote. The kid in green in the second row will answer next. A little boy in green stood up. Master Hokage. A ninja is a person who can endure all kinds of pain. Next, a ninja is someone who can defeat all enemies. Next, ninjas are the ones who can bear anything. Sarutobi Hiruzen ordered 7 people to answer this question in a row, and then returned to the podium to continue his speech. I just asked 7 classmates what a ninja is. Some of you say ninjas endure everything, some say ninjas defeat everything, and some. I will not judge any of these now, and I am going to return this question to everyone. I will ask you this question again in 6 years. I hope that everyone can give me their well thought out answers by then. When you know what a ninja is, the next step is to set yourself a goal. What are you going to do as ninjas? Is it for a better life? Or to protect the family? Or to protect Konoha? I'm here to tell you my own story, hoping to help you little ninjas set their goals. Sarutobi Hiruzen looks up to the sky and falls into memory. When I was born, Master First Hokage was still alive. At that time, with the efforts of Shodai, the entire ninja world successfully ended the troubled times and eliminated wars. When I was growing up, like everyone else, I lived in a peaceful environment. I only heard about wars from my parents. At that time, because of my talent, I was honored to be favored by the master of the second generation project and accepted as a disciple. I also worked hard at school and learned a lot of ninjutsu. Soon, I will successfully graduate and become a ninja. During my ninja career, I was also doing missions. I have experienced the attacks of enemies, the cunning of businessmen, the pain of injuries. Quote. Just when my classmates and I thought that our ninja career would continue in this kind of life, the war suddenly broke out. The land of thunder has invaded the land of fire, and the ninjas in Konoha village are mobilizing all their strength to resist. At that time, as long as I walked out of Konoha village, I could see lonely civilians everywhere, burned houses, and bones lying on the roadside. Quote. Led by the purpose of second generation, we have gone through untold hardships and finally shut out the ninjas of Cloud Shinobi village. My teacher, second Hokage, also died in this war. I served as the queen of Konoha village, and the whole village was crying because of the war. There are white cloths hanging on the windows by the side of the road. There are people coming and going on the comfort monument, and it never stops. From that moment on, I set a goal for my ninja career. Protect the peace and stability of Konoha village, so that everyone can live here safely. For me, a ninja is someone who can give up everything for this goal. Quote. Sarutobi Hiruzen paused, looked at the group of 6-year-old children in the field, and concluded the speech. Children, the inheritance of the will of fire is to protect the family. Everyone has his own little home, but the village is everyone's big family. I believe that as long as we continue to work hard from generation to generation, the will of fire will be passed on. Whether we are a small family or everyone, we can become better. Finally, I wish everyone success in ninja school. Be a Jonin. Led by the teacher of the ninja school, the audience applauded. Crack, 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 crack. Sarutobi Hiruzen waved his hand down the field, took out his pipe and turned to leave. Please wait a moment, a teacher will arrange a placement test. Another teacher on the stage greeted the students in the audience, and hurriedly followed. Faintly, Uchiha Shinta heard third generation questioning the nearby teacher. The student in the audience who looks 2 heads taller than the other side is Uchiha Shinta. Well, yes, it's him. Why did he come here? You can ask him to come and find me later. Hey, quote. Uchiha Shinta didn't realize it, and continued to listen to Uchiha Makoto whispering next to him. After all, it's normal for him who is with his little sister to not want to talk to other people at all now. Entrance to the ninja school is tested. The test is divided into 2 parts, theory test and ninjutsu talent test. Among them, the theoretical test is to see whether the students have a foundation in ninja knowledge. What's more important is the ninjutsu talent, which is the key to determine whether you can successfully enter the school. The ninja school can test the student's talent in ninjutsu with a high probability through a special method. After the test results come out, students with poor ninjutsu talents will be eliminated directly. Unless you have shown extraordinary perseverance and special talents, and entered the eyes of the ninja school or Konoha village executives, you can make up the entrance examination. The yet-to-be-born Might Guy, the proud blue beast of Konoha, followed the path of a specialist in gymnastics. After failing the entrance examination once, he moved Hokage with perseverance, and became an alternate member of the ninja school. Quote. The owner of Uchiha Makoto is the blood of the famous Uchiha family, and he was born to stand at the top of this world where blood succession is supreme. And she will become a Jonin in the future anyway, so it is naturally impossible for her to be stumped by the mere ninja entrance examination. Not to mention Uchiha Shinta, who pays special attention to her, is watching all the time. Uchiha Six Paths Shinta is ready to go. Uchiha Makoto first lined up on the playground and tested his ninjutsu talent, including chakra refining efficiency, physical fitness, chakra precision, etc. The obtained data was not announced on the spot, and the teacher had to wait for the follow-up to summarize and conduct careful calculations before the score could be obtained. After that, under the guidance of the teacher, Makoto followed the team to the classroom to take the written test. While testing his ninjutsu talent on the playground, Uchiha Shinta stayed by and cheered on Makoto. When she took the written test, Uchiha Shinta, who had been strictly guarded by the teacher, could only stay on the playground under Makoto's reluctant eyes. After all, if you really cheated on the written test for class placement, there's no need for it, right? Just as Uchiha Shinta was sitting on the playground watching the sun and the moon, waiting for Uchiha Makoto's test to end, he suddenly sensed a familiar chakra coming towards him from behind. It's that teacher just now. With a move in Uchiha Shinta's heart, the chakra in the body works by itself. A figure emerged from nothing, stood up behind him, and walked towards the sensed chakra. After 3 or 2 steps, Hollow's solid figure revealed his face, exactly like Shinta's. Who is actually going to see Hokage? The clone of Shinta, who stepped back, soon met this chakra. Uchiha Shinta, sure enough, you are still here. Master Hokage told you to go see him now. Shinta looked up, glanced at the green Chunin vest ninja who was standing on the podium with Sarutobi Hiruzen from 3rd generation just now, and nodded to him without changing his expression. Lead the way. Ordinary teacher Chunin suddenly felt choked. Why are you here as a freshman, without a teacher chasing you? Why do you hear Master Hokage looking for you so easily? Why did you just meet me here? Teacher Chunin's vest was full of questions stuck in his throat, and he couldn't help but look at Shinta twice before turning around to lead the way. All right, come with me. The two figures gradually moved away, and Uchiha Shinta himself was still sitting on a chair not far away. From the beginning to the end, Mr. Chunin Vest seemed to have never seen him beside him. This is Flowing Water Ninjutsu Kyoka Suigetsu. The book is divided into two sections. Uchiha Shinta of the main body was waiting for Makoto's exam to end, and the clone came to the school principal's office with Mr. Chunin's waistcoat and knocked on the door. Boom, boom, boom. Master Hokage, Uchiha Shinta brought. A young and powerful voice came from the principal's room. Come in, squeak. Teacher Chunin's waistcoat carefully opened the door, and walked to third generation who was looking through the student files. Master Hokage, he beckoned. The clone of Uchiha Shinta in the back also paced up, walked to the table and stood still, but his eyes drifted to the playground, met the eyes of Shinta who was looking here, and then missed it. Sarutobi Hiruzen speeded up, quickly finished reading, and pushed all the files in front of Teacher Chunin's waistcoat. Keigo, I will trouble you to move to the office now, and the list of new students will be published today. Hi, I will urge the office to speed up, and the announcement must be completed today. Teacher Chunin Vest was very excited, picked up the file and walked downstairs quickly. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked up at Shinta and motioned for him to sit down. Uchiha Shinta, come sit by my side. This should be our first official meeting. Uchiha Shinta turned back from the window, walked across to Sarutobi Hiruzen, pulled out a chair and sat down. Indeed, I've always wanted to hear Mr. Hokage's Will of Fire, but I didn't expect to hear it by taking this opportunity. Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly became curious, temporarily gave up asking Shinta and Tsunade questions, and wanted to know how Shinta viewed Will of Fire. Oh, what do you think, Shinta, of my Will of Fire? Uchiha Shinta pondered for a moment. How should I put it? It can only be said that it is expected. He looked up at Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was only 25 or 6 years old, and said something that made his face change drastically. Where the leaves dance, so does the fire. The fire will continue to illuminate the village and allow new leaves to sprout. This is Hokage-sama's Will of Fire. It really fits with your speech today. Sarutobi Hiruzen was so shocked that he stopped for a moment, even putting the pipe in his mouth. Is this your comprehension, Shinta? It's really incisive. Uchiha Shinta's talent shone in the ninja school, the good relationship with Tsunade, and the relationship with his peers revealed in Sarutobi Hiruzen's mind one after another. He was silently smoking his pipe, and bursts of smoke spit out from his mouth, revealing his uncertain thoughts. Uchiha Shinta was not talking either, but was still looking at him steadily. After Sarutobi Hiruzen thought for a while, he suddenly put his pipe on the table, stood up straight, and stretched out his right hand towards Uchiha Shinta. Then Shinta, with such a deep comprehension, you must also recognize the Will of Fire in your heart. Want to be my student? The Will of Fire is to rely on the firelight from generation to generation to illuminate the newly born jade, so that it can be passed on. We will burn eventually. If it is you, you should be able to inherit the will of the past shadows. Uchiha Shinta looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen's outstretched hand and suddenly smiled. If I hold it by myself now, will the next career become Konoha? I was trained as Hokage by Sarutobi Hiruzen in Uchiha. Then I will become the appearance of Naruto with kidney deficiency in the future. Thinking of this, Shinta shuddered. Although I really want to agree to try it, but for the third generation project, I still refuse. Sarutobi Hiruzen was stunned. He subconsciously asked back. Why? I have almost made it clear. Why would someone reject this one of the 5 highest positions in the ninja world so simply? The idea of protecting everyone is too broad. My only thought at the moment is to protect my existing bonds. Others, wait until I have an idea. Sarutobi Hyuga also wants to redeem it. However, if everyone does not work together, how can Konoha's peace be maintained? Such a Shoujia will never be happy. I think with my ability, I can still maintain the peace I want. Uchiha Shinta stood up, walked to the window, and looked down at the freshman who had finished the test and came down the stairs one after another. His figure began to fade slowly until he disappeared. Only a few words echoed in the room. By the way, Master Hokage, your will of fire is really good. I'll keep watching. Seeing Shinta's figure fade away suddenly, Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately jumped up and stood on the windowsill, and fished at Shinta's original standing position, but there was no response. Is this a shadow clone? Or an illusion? He turned his head to look out the window as if in response. Today's young people, this is amazing. Half an hour after Uchiha Makoto took the written test. The freshmen who finished the written test went downstairs one after another, and the school gate opened. Makoto ran down from the school building and saw Uchiha Shinta sitting in a prominent position at a glance. Oni-chan, today's content is very simple. Makoto answered all the answers. She ran over and couldn't wait to show off to Shinta. Uchiha Shinta bowed his head with a smile, and reached out to help her wipe the fine sweat from her forehead. Makoto is amazing. I knew you would pass. How about waiting for a barbecue? Barbecue. Gudong. Hearing two slobbers, Uchiha Shinta and Makoto looked to the side at the same time. I saw the little girl from the Akamaiki family who was first called by Sarutobi Hiruzen walk by with a blank expression. Puff. Uchiha Shinta and Makoto look at each other and smile. Oni sauce. I want to eat something very spicy later. Okay, let's take a seat now. Oni-chan, this time I want you to carry me. Okay, come up. Quote. Uchiha Shinta carried Makoto on his back and walked towards Konoha Yakiniku. When he was about to leave the school gate, he looked back at the window of the principal's office located above the teaching building, and Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen missed each other's eyes. He turned his head and continued to walk out of the school gate as if nothing had happened. Konoha 33 years. In front of Uchiha Shinta's house. Oni-chan, get up soon, you are about to take the graduation exam, you can't sleep in these days. The crisp sound like spring water resounded. A little girl about 1.34 meters tall, wearing a pink outfit and holding a box of rice balls in her hand, shouted outside Uchiha Shinta's door. From her face, one can vaguely see the original Uchiha Makoto's appearance, but it's just grown. In the room on the second floor, Uchiha Shinta lying on the bed opened his eyes helplessly. Here we come. Makoto, stop urging me. I'll be right down. He lay on the bed and spoke normally, but the voice seemed to have no gap at all, and it rang directly in the ear of Uchiha Makoto outside the door. Uchiha Makoto was not surprised at all, he just stood at the door, waiting for Shinta to come out. After all, after 3 years, she has already become familiar with the mystery and omnipotence of her Oni sauce. That's right, time flies, 3 years have passed in the blink of an eye. Over the years, Uchiha Shinta has been playing cards, shopping, playing cards, playing classmates, playing cards. In general, it is to allow Tsunade to challenge the 100,000 game losing streak. Take Uchiha Makoto all over the land of fire, big and small. Let the ninja school classmates feel the fear of Kyoka Suigetsu all the time. Uchiha Shinta tries to get out of bed while reminiscing about his great achievements over the past 3 years. It's all due to the fact that the seal of the Quilt Demon King is too strong, making it extremely difficult for Shinta to break free. After struggling to sit up, he walked directly to the door of the room. In the first step, the body shape is transformed between chakra and physical body. Washing is complete. In the second step, the pajamas on her body were directly replaced with a black casual outfit, and the pajamas appeared on the hanger. Dressing done. The third step is to step out and go directly to the door of the house, and reach out to open the door. Squeak. Makoto, you are so early every day. It seems that I was right to ask Makoto to wake me up. Is today's breakfast still rice balls? Let me try. After 3 years, Shinta has proficiently integrated the use of various ninjutsu into his life, making his daily life extremely convenient. If you want to ask him about his experience, you can only say, the feeling of having extraordinary abilities is really beyond your imagination. Single quote. Uchiha Makoto reached out to open the onigiri box and handed it to Shinta. Oni-chan is real. Every time I can come out directly, but I have to open the door from the inside. What a waste of time. Counting the time on the road, we are almost late again. Ha 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 ha. Delicious. Have you eaten, Makoto? Uchiha Shinta took a bite of Makoto's glutinous rice balls before responding. Open the door from the inside. This is a ceremony. It symbolizes the beginning of a new day of struggle. HMPH. Oni-chan always has so many fallacies. Ha 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 ha. Then let's hurry up today. Save the cute Makoto-chan and get told by the teacher for being late again. Uchiha Shinta finished Makoto's rice ball quickly, took Makoto's hand and ran towards the ninja school. Oni-chan, slow down. Ha 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 ha. Quote. The two ran from the Uchiha tribe to Luffy, avoiding a black cat blocking the road, two old ladies crossing the road, the third generation who was walking on the street inspecting Konoha, and four security guards who were teaming up to maintain law and order. The team members, the 5 breakfast stalls that had been launched early, and the greenskins who were running on the road with handstands and push-ups, came to the gate of the ninja school panting. Who. Uchiha Makoto put his hands on his knees and took several deep breaths in a row. Really, Oni-chan, don't run so fast. I can't breathe. Shinta waited for Makoto to recover, then pulled her up and walked towards the school. So Makoto, you need to practice more. It's not good to devote all your experience to ninjutsu. You can't stand such a short distance. That's Oni-chan running too fast. I was in the top 5 in the gymnastics test in the class. Uchiha Makoto followed obediently, but his mouth was retorting. Ha ha. Shinta, who didn't want to say that he despised Makoto's class, could only respond with a laugh. Oni-chan, what do you mean by, hee? Perhaps it was the resonance of the tone, or the girl's sixth sense. Uchiha Makoto keenly noticed something wrong in Shinta's laughter. No other meaning. Uchiha Shinta responded decisively and stopped at the entrance of the corridor. Makoto, your 3rd grade floor is here, you go straight to the classroom. I'll come to you after school. Yeah, Shinta Oni-chan, see you at noon. See you at noon. Uchiha Shinta said goodbye to Makoto and headed upstairs by himself. Walking and walking, Uchiha Shinta's figure slowly divided into 2, one in front and one in the back. The one in the front continued to walk towards the classroom, and the one in the back stepped forward and disappeared without a trace. Uchiha Shinta's avatar class, body playing card stunt reappeared. Inside the Tsunade courtyard, after Uchiha Shinta took a step forward, he came directly to the table where he usually played cards, and looked at Tsunade next to him with surprise. Why did you get up so early today? Don't you usually wait until I come? Yawn. It's not Nawaki yet. He said he has a test today, so he wants me to bless him with grandma. Tsunade rubbed his eyes sleepily, took out a deck of cards from under the table, and shuffled them skillfully. Aren't you going to take a test today? How about a clone? Come and throw the dice, the one that hits will be drawn first. Ha. Mine are 4, 5, 6. Uchiha Shinta watched as Tsunade put the shuffled cards in the middle and threw a straight, picked up the dice and threw them on the table. Then they must be able to hit my clone. 6, 5, 6, older than you, I will smoke first. Cut. I have 3 belts and 1. And, quote. The main body is playing cards with Tsunade and Shinta, playing cards at will, and synchronously sensing the situation of the avatar in the classroom. In the 6th grade classroom, Tengchongda just stepped onto the podium at this moment. Students, we are conducting a final test today. Please go to the playground in an orderly manner and get ready. Ninja School Playground. In order to conduct the final exam for the 6th grade, 5 desks were placed against the wall on the playground, and the 5 examiners who were in charge of scoring sat in a row behind the desks early. When Uchiha Shinta clone came to the playground with the flow of people in the class, he found at a glance that the examiner sitting in the middle was the teacher who stood on the podium with Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen every year. As expected, this, Kigo, is also a high-ranking member of the school. Single quote. Uchiha Shinta secretly thought, he is not very familiar with the school except for the teacher. After all, what's wrong with him being so busy playing cards that he doesn't know the school management? Ahem, please stand in 4 rows and 8 rows. Class teacher Tengchongda organized the class to stand in line and began to count the number of people present. 4832. That's right, all are here. He nodded, walked over to report to the examiner in a low voice, and after a while, he came back with a piece of red paper on which the groups were written. Everyone be quiet. Teng Chongda first stopped the hustle and bustle on the field, and announced the specific method of the graduation exam. For this year's final exam, we will draw the actual combat test. Wait for everyone to compete on the stage in pairs according to the names I read. The winners will advance and then regroup until the first place is determined. The audience erupted in shock. What to do? We actually won the most difficult practical test. Isn't it usually enough to test basic ninjutsu? What if we face Uchiha Shinta, Nawaki, Hyuga Hiyashi? This is the panic of most students. If they run into the students of those descendant families at work, wouldn't they have no hope of graduating at all? Shinta, this time I must beat you. Wash away the failures of the past 4 years. This is Nawaki and Hibiki Inuzuka eager to try, wanting to compete with Uchiha Shinta and challenge their own losing streak record. Ah, I can see Shinta-kun fighting again. I must persevere until I meet Shinta-kun, and then give him a magnificent defeat. HMPH. Hiryu Wakana Kuchiki bell tone. Don't talk like me. The only one who can lose to Shinta-kun is me. This is Shinta's fans fighting for the right to lose to Shinta. Okay, I happen to be best at gymnastics. This time I must get good grades. This is the self-motivation of some students who are not good at ninjutsu or have no ninjutsu inheritance at home. Quote. Ahem. Be quiet, everyone. Amid all kinds of voices, Teng Chongda tried his best to maintain order. In a duel, it doesn't mean that you can become a ninja after winning. The results of our graduation test this time, the examiner mainly judges the performance in battle. Whether it is combat wisdom, combat skills or combat ability, everything is within the scope of the test. So don't be discouraged, everyone, as long as you perform well in the battle, you can pass the final test. He focused on comforting most of the ordinary students, reminding them to cheer up and strive for good grades. Now everyone, get out of the way. Let's start the first game, Sarutobi Kanata vs. Shimura Kenta. The whole class scattered, some walked to the side to warm up temporarily, and some wanted to observe the opponent's situation, scattered around the center of the playground to form a large semicircle. Sarutobi Kanta and Shimura Kenta stepped forward to form the seal of opposition. Santa, I'm sorry, I have a reason to win. Kenta Shimura took the lead in attacking, raising his left and right hands continuously, throwing out 3 kunai each, turning into 6 paths black shadows and attacking Sarutobi Kanata. Whizzing. Every 3 kunai's sounds made a sound, the middle 4 were aimed at Sarutobi's body, and the left and right ones blocked his avoiding directions on both sides, forcing him to jump up. While throwing kunai, Shimura Kenta ran to the side by himself, and kept using the shuriken to aim at Sarutobi's dodging direction to predict the attack. Kenta, I don't know how to release water. Following Shimura Kenta's prediction, Sarutobi jumped to the side and rear, dodging the kunai coming from the front. While in the air, the right hand took out a kunai from the ninja bag, quickly blocked the shuriken shot by Shimura Kenta, and the left hand took advantage of the momentum to throw the shuriken to fight back when it landed. PFF'd. Boom. What? Contrary to Sarutobi Kanata's expectation, he just hit Shimura Kenta who was running with just a random shuriken. Do not. The sound is wrong. Single quote. During the attack just now, 2 different voices sounded. The sound in the front seemed to penetrate something, and the sound in the back was the sound of a shuriken piercing a tree. Single quote. Sarutobi Kanade too hasty thinking. Also, Kenta who was hit turned into white smoke and scattered in all directions. Single quote. So is it a clone? Single quote. Then where will Kenta be? Single quote. After Sarutobi reacted, his subconscious hands formed a seal quickly. Wei Hai Ugly Shu Yin. Body replacement technique. Wind style vacuum sphere. The 2 voices sounded at the same time, in no particular order. In front of the body replacement technique is Sarutobi Kanata's dodge to prevent attacks. The wind style vacuum sphere. In the back is the ninjutsu launched by Shimura Kenta who hides behind the tree and seals secretly. Boom. Sarutobi's figure was distorted after being hit by the vacuum sphere, turning into a tattered piece of wood. Where? There is a wall behind Shimura Kenta, and he quickly turns his head left and right to guard against the possible sneak attack by Sarutobi Kanata. Not on the left. Not on the right. Where is it hiding? Single quote. There's a change in the light. Up there. Keenly sensing the shadows coming from above, Kenta Shimura immediately threw the 4 kunai that he had prepared in his hand upwards. At the same time, look up and watch the past vigilantly. Boom, 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 boom. After the thrown kunai hits, it makes 4 consecutive sounds of wood being hit. Shimura Kenta's face changed drastically, and he was about to jump up and leave immediately, trying to cover up with Fang Yin in another place, and continue the duel with Sarutobi Kanata. Whoosh, boom, there was a sound of kicking from behind. Kenta Shimura, who was standing on tiptoe with an unstable center of gravity, was hit on the side with his leg from behind, and his brain hit the big tree next to him hard. Then, he, who was unconscious after the violent impact, rolled back to the original place under the reaction force. Behind Shimura Kenta's original standing position, Sarutobi stood up with one hand on the ground, and the whole person stood up slowly in the shape of a kick. Sarutobi pulled out his calf, which was half sunken in the soil, and walked up to Shimura Kenta. Kenta, when you didn't find out that I used the Earth-style diving technique, you've already lost. He reached out to lift Shimura Kenta up. Lying on the ground with severe pain in the waist, Shimura Kenta was still a little confused in his mind. His consciousness was still stuck in the duel just now, and he refused to accept the reality that he had lost in his mind. The left hand just behind the back drew out kunai, and swiped towards the squatting Sarutobi Kanata. Unaware of the decline in his own state, the attack speed, strength, and accuracy dropped sharply. Sarutobi pressed Shimura Kenta's kunai on his neck casually, and said to him in a deep voice. Kenta, I see your hard work. But sorry, I also have a reason to win. The head teacher and host Tengchong Da immediately stepped forward, separated the two of them, and announced the result. In the first game, Sarutobi played 2 victorious, and the two sides formed a seal of reconciliation. Second match, Uchiha Shinta vs. Inuzuka Habi. The dazed Shimura Kenta refused Sarutobi's support after being dragged into the seal, and walked off the stage alone in desperation. Uchiha Shinta clone paced to the middle of the field, ready to give Hibiki Inuzuka his 273rd consecutive defeat. Ninja School Playground Open Space. Uchiha Shinta clone raised his hand, facing Hibiki Inuzuka from a distance, forming a seal of opposition. Then, Uchiha Shinta lowered his hands, quietly waiting for the opponent's first move. After all, high-profile bosses always attack from the back, and then kill them with one blow. It's too low to jump around like a brave man and keep testing. Uchiha Shinta, who subconsciously classified himself into the boss camp, insisted on the style of painting that he has maintained for 4 years. In his opinion, he has talent, open cheating, perseverance, playing cards, and ideals, protecting bonds, watching fun. Doesn't he meet all the conditions of a powerful boss? So there is no problem with the backhand attack. And he felt that his deskmate might come up with some new tricks this time. In this regard, Uchiha Katakana middle dot Leziran Katakana middle dot Shinta is also very interested. After all, Hibiki Inuzuka has proved it with more than 200 unremitting challenges. Losing to Uchiha Shinta, he is serious. Sure enough, Hibiki Inuzuka, who had just completed the seal, immediately covered his forehead and let out a nervous laugh. Blah, 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 blah. He specially used the voice-changing technique to change into a low voice and said, Uchiha Shinta, you are still so arrogant. I have seen your fate. Today, let me lose at the feet of Uncle Shang. As soon as the words of the second class fell to the ground, Hibiki Inuzuka, with Heijiro on his head, rushed towards Uchiha Shinta quickly, and at the same time, his hands quickly formed seals. Ninja four-legged technique. Chakra spread and entwined around Hibiki Inuzuka's limbs. As he advanced, Hibiki Inuzuka gradually got down on the ground, his fingernails became sharp, and he used both hands and feet together, like a black bulldog rushing towards Shinta. Uchiha Shinta clone turned slightly sideways, easily dodged the attack, turned around and continued to look at Hibiki Inuzuka calmly. Hibiki Inuzuka hit the ground on all fours, both hands and feet pouring into Chakra's fingers and feet and pulling out 12 traces on the ground, 10 thin and 2 thick. Still staring at Uchiha Shinta intently. It still doesn't work, so let's use our real skills. But it's really hateful. This expression seems to be under control. This time I must smash him. Hibiki Inuzuka, who entered the fighting state, has a bloodthirsty calmness. He didn't even get up, and ran around Uchiha Shinta on all fours at a high speed, and the whole person was pulled out of the afterimage. The wind of running drives the surrounding dust everywhere, blowing it to the outer circle non-stop. The onlookers all covered their eyes with one hand and stepped back. No one wanted to eat a mouthful of dust stepped on by Hibiki Inuzuka. The two brothers Hiyashi and Hazashi of the Hyuga family have bulging veins in the corners of their eyes and forehead, and their eyes are covered by their arms, which does not affect their continued observation at all. So fast. Inuzuka Hibiki's speed is close to the limit of the human body's reaction. Even my eyes will be lost if I don't pay attention. Hyuga Hiyashi couldn't believe it. In a normal quiz, how could a guy who was killed by Uchiha Shinta raise his hand every time be so good? Hazashi, who was inseparable from the big brother, also kept his eyes on him, and praised. With this speed alone, Hibiki Inuzuka is considered a genin level. And it's getting faster and faster. Maybe he can break the myth of Uchiha Shinta, Kyoka Suigetsu. Hyuga Hiyashi's expression returned to calm when he heard his younger brother's words. He shook his head, negating Hyuga Hazashi's words, and brought up the old incident 4 years ago instead. No, impossible. Hazashi, do you still remember the scene where Shinta-kun used Kyoka Suigetsu for the first time? See Chapter 10. I chose to play the technical style, and I was suspected of cheating. I remember that you, big brother, used the gentle fist mystery, 8 trigrams 8 palms to force out Uchiha Shinta's Kyoka Suigetsu. This is also the first time his Kyoka Suigetsu has appeared. Could it be, at that time, Kyoka Suigetsu could escape the genin attack? The clumsy Hyuga Hazashi tried to flatter, but when he recalled the original scene, he was taken aback by his own guessing instead. It's not that Kyoka Suigetsu can dodge, but Uchiha Shinta can dodge. It's always ninjas, not ninjutsu. Hyuga Hiyashi corrected him. The concept of Kyoka Suigetsu is no longer a secret since it was proposed by Mr. Shinta. Chunin can use the clone to deceive genin, and jonin can use the clone to deceive chunin. But it's all different for Baian. Ordinary clones can be clearly seen in front of Baian. We can easily see through ordinary clone technique and attribute clones. Even ninjas at the level of shadow can only hide it from our eyes with shadow clone. Speaking of his blood successor, Hyuga Hiyashi's tone was a little excited. Hazashi puffed out his chest slightly too. What? The students who eavesdropped on the side felt a blood following the dog, breath coming towards them, and couldn't help but take 2 steps back in disgust, but when they heard Hiyashi continue to speak, they couldn't help but lean forward. Hyuga Hiyashi didn't take it seriously and continued to explain. After the failure at the beginning, I was full of puzzles, so I asked Shinta-kun off the court how he escaped the supercilious observation. Shinta-kun sensed my sincerity and told me the key to the battle. Hyuga Hiyashi, who revealed that he was short, concealed the 400,000 taels to express sincerity incident, focusing on his shamelessness and Uchiha Shinta's broad mind. People's attention is limited. When you are attracted by crows, you won't notice the black cat in the corner of your eye. You can only recall it if someone reminds you. Under the guidance of Mr. Shinta, I discovered that during the battle at that time, my white eyes had indeed seen through Mr. Shinta's clone, but my consciousness did not react. At that time, my attention was completely focused on the attack of 8 trigrams 8 palms. When I shot Satsuna, Shinta-kun stood in place with the image of the meridian outlined in the body. Using my white eyes to subconsciously focus on the original, I ignored Shinta-kun's body on the meridians of the ground clone, so all the attacks failed, and Shinta-kun also took the opportunity to defeat me. Later, I also consulted the elders in the clan. They also lamented that the essence of fighting among ninjas is to deceive each other, and Shinta-kun's Kyoka Suigetsu simply brought the deception between square inches to the ultimate level, which can be called the art of fighting between ninjas. However, the elders in the clan persuaded me not to force myself to learn Shinta-kun's fighting. Hyuga Hazashi turned his head and stared at Hyuga Hazashi with an expression of, "Why do I, who follows you day and night, still not know?" but did not get any response from Hiyashi, who was indulging in the explanation. Hyuga Hiyashi commentary continues. The elders in the clan explained that because people are different. For example, if the reaction speed of a normal ninja is 0.2s, it can be increased to 0.02s with the help of chakra, and it can be increased to 0.002s with the help of special ninjutsu, then Shinta-kun's natural reaction speed is at least 0.002s. The reaction speed is the same as that of a normal ninja after using a special ninja. We have to reach the height under the special ninjutsu as his starting point. Because of this, for us normal ninjas, Kyoka Suigetsu, which can only be used when showing off skills, can be invincible throughout the ninja school in his hand. The examinee who eavesdropped on the side shouted in his heart, "You with white eyes are as normal ninjas as anyone else. We are all disabled ninjas without blood successors. So Hazashi, you know. How could Uchiha Shinta, who has such talent, lose to a mere Inuzuka Hibiki?" Hyuga Hazashi nodded, but still stared at Hyuga Hazashi, wanting to know when he lost Hiyashi. Only then did Hyuga Hiyashi realize that he seemed to have told about the secret visit to Jonin in the clan, so he turned his head and pretended nothing happened. "That, Hazashi, The commentary off the court is pointing the country, but Hibiki Inuzuka on the court is doing everything possible to pursue victory. He didn't try to sneak attack with kunai or shuriken. Since Uchiha Shinta created the concept of Kyoka Suigetsu 4 years ago, no matter how violent and delicate the long-range attack is, his clothes will not be damaged in the slightest. Over the years, large and small tests have fully proved that ordinary long-distance ninja tools are completely ineffective against Uchiha Shinta. Therefore, after positioning Uchiha Shinta as an opponent that must be defeated, Hibiki Inuzuka has been putting all his energy on melee attacks, trying to break the invincible created by Kyoka Suigetsu through attacks that exceed Uchiha Shinta's body speed. You know, in order to be able to defeat this old enemy in front of him, Master Shang let go of his self-esteem as a black proud bulldog and bowed his head to his grandfather Jonin for help. After hearing the reason why Uchiha Shinta's reaction speed is invincible, and after paying a terrible price letting Heijiro play with Grandpa's Daikokumaru for 2 days, I got a flaw from my grandfather that is not a flaw. Facing extremely fast with such an attack speed, even if you react, your body can't dodge it. Now is the time to test your own cultivation results. Heijiro, get ready. The current speed is enough. Hibiki Inuzuka, who was running fast, opened his mouth, and the oncoming wind choked his mouth. His words were a little blurred, but the signal was still received by Heijiro, who had a good heart. Wow. Heijiro, who had moved onto Inuzuka Hibiki's back just now, responded loudly. Ninja Beastman clone. Boom. A puff of white smoke appeared, but it was blown away by the strong wind brought by Hibiki Inuzuka's running. The Hikari Inuzuka that emerged from the white smoke changed from 1 to 2, and the two moved at exactly the same speed, running alternately around Uchiha Shinta, disturbing his sight. Oh, Hibiki's strongest attack is to call Kami Heijiro together. Looking at the two Inuzuka Hibiki who were still running around, trying to find the right time, Uchiha Shinta didn't want this scene to continue, he provocative. That can indeed be called a mystery. After all, you were just a little weaker than Heijiro in combat power, and after adding Heijiro, your combat power has doubled. Hibiki Inuzuka, who was running around, didn't reply, but exchanged eye signals with Heijiro, beast clone status beside him. Chance. Ninja teeth. The two Inuzuka Hibiki who were running around turned into two horizontal whirlwinds while Uchiha Shinta was talking, and rushed towards him from left to right with overwhelming momentum. The speed of ninja teeth is already extremely fast. With the momentum accumulated from running just now, he can even bombard Uchiha Shinta in the blink of an eye. However, even in the current Uchiha Shinta avatar, you can adjust your sense of timing in the body replacement technique state. In his eyes, Hibiki Inuzuka and Heijiro kept spinning in the air, tearing the surrounding air with their sharp claws, forming two horizontal pillars of wind, and at the same time slowly advancing in his direction. Hee. Sure enough, ninjas are a group of persistent people. In order to be able to defeat me, he was able to do this. Then, let me give you some encouragement for your struggles over the years. Seeing the ferocious faces of the two Hikari Inuzuka in the air, Uchiha Shinta smiled slightly and raised his hand seal. Wei, Hai, Ugly, Shu, Yin, body replacement technique. Boom. The two tunnels crisscrossed and directly bombarded where Uchiha Shinta was standing, bringing up a large amount of dust and covering the surrounding site. How about it? Which one won? Did it hit? Shinta-kun. Quote. Candidates watching around asked about the two supercilious eyes in the field. Some want to see Uchiha Shinta defeated. Some want to know the outcome of the battle. Some, like Kiryu Wakana, were worried about whether Uchiha Shinta was injured. No hit. At the last moment, Uchiha Shinta used the body replacement technique. Hyuga Hazashi spoke instead of the eldest brother, and the candidates around immediately sighed and cheered at the same time. The smoke and dust in place slowly dissipated, and Inuzuka Habiki and Heijiro in the form of Inuzuka Habiki squatted together panting heavily in a 2-meter square pit. The pit was full of deep marks scratched by sharp claws. Around the two of them, Heijiro Nakaheijiro, the orc avatar, there were still some wood chips scattered around, and black smoke was scalded by the high-temperature scratches, and some of them had turned red, burning with flames. Sure enough, it's still useless. Although it feels wrong when it hits, I'm still a little unwilling. It seems that the speed will continue to increase. Boom. Habiki Inuzuka, who was reviewing the situation just now, turned his head and watched Heijiro beside him change back to his original form amidst the noise. A black puppy lay on its stomach in the pit. It wobbled and tried to stand up, but it fell back on its stomach. Heijiro, you are already so tired. Then you should have a good rest. I'm going to try again. You can't just admit defeat to that guy. Habiki Inuzuka put his limbs on the ground again, his nose twitched and smelled. Strange. This guy didn't leave any smell. Could it be sound? You guys are doing really well. Habiki Inuzuka was carefully distinguishing the smell in the pit, when a voice suddenly came from behind, making his hair stand on end. He immediately turned around, and Heijiro, who had a rest beside him, managed to stand up, and followed him on guard. It really is you, Uchiha Shinta. Wow, just now your ninja teeth surprised me. I didn't expect you to be able to master such a technique before you graduated. Your Konoha Black Bulldog claims that I approve it. In order to show my respect for your hard work, I specially use the body replacement technique to dodge your attack. Isn't it very touching? Uchiha Shinta ignored Inuzuka Habiki's vigilance, but talked to him. According to Shinta's experience, this can boost Inuzuka's morale very well. Baga, it's Konoha's Black Proud Bulldog. And you look like this. It really makes people angry. Chakra on Habiki Inuzuka boiled again, and his limbs turned into black shadows and rushed towards Uchiha Shinta. Heijiro also struggled to jump up, staggered after his master's footsteps, and ran towards Shinta with his white face bared. Are you still attacking? It's really brave. However, when I face ants that always provoke me, I usually kick them away. Are you ready? Facing the elbow approaching his chest, Uchiha Shinta still kept his tone unchanged, and finished his words calmly, which made Habiki Inuzuka burst out with strength from his heart again. This time, it should be hit. Seeing that he was getting closer and closer to Uchiha Shinta, but he was still talking to himself, Habiki Inuzuka had huge hopes in his heart. Candidates on the sidelines obviously noticed that Uchiha Shinta in the field suddenly moved back a foot, leaving a clone in place, and the words, Kyoka Suigetsu, flashed in their minds. Puff. Habiki Inuzuka's elbow dug into his chest, making his eyes dim. Is it a clone again? Looks like it failed again. Single quote. Immediately afterwards, there was severe pain in his chest and abdomen, and he was sent flying out by a powerful bombardment rotation. Habiki Inuzuka, who rotated 360 degrees, looked back in the air and realized that it was Uchiha Shinta's left kick that hit him. Boom. Habiki Inuzuka, who was spitting blood, landed in front of Heijiro, who was running over. His body was cut and bruised by the gravel on the ground. Woof. Whoa, 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 whoa. Heijiro immediately speeded up and ran in front of Habiki Inuzuka, with his back turned to him, screaming at Uchiha Shinta. Uchiha Shinta stood still, watching the touching scene of the black dog savior in front of him, but thinking about irrelevant things in his mind. As expected, I still have the demeanor of a boss. I defeated the enemy without making up the knife, and even humiliated them with words. I don't know if he will call me 30 years in Hidong, 30 years in Hexi. Do you want to say, this child is so terrifying, you must not stay, and then kill the killer? It took a while. Habiki Inuzuka, who had recovered a bit, struggled to stand up, looked at Uchiha Shinta's calmly watching face, bent down and picked up Heijiro, put it on his shoulder, and raised his left hand. Teacher, I admit defeat. Tengchong Taihei rushed up immediately, greeted the medical ninja who had been notified in advance, and tested him on Hibiki Inuzuka's body. Really, why can't you be careful? Shinta is too, so heavy. Doctor, how is he hurt? The sternum is broken, and the internal organs have suffered a certain impact. The rest are skin injuries, so it doesn't matter so much. But in order to recover the bones, it is best to stay in the Konoha hospital for 2 days. The medical ninja in the white coat issued the diagnosis results, and Tengchong Da, the homeroom teacher who had Sui Sui Nian, planned to move Hibiki Inuzuka to a temporary emergency point nearby. Da. Uchiha Shinta walked towards the three of them, his clothes rattled in the strong wind of the playground, and 2 streamers danced behind him. Did you forget something? Tengchong Da and Quanzhong Shang were stunned at the same time, and they looked at each other with doubts in their eyes. Could it be? A few seconds later, Uchiha Shinta came to Hibiki Inuzuka, who was forced to lie down, knelt down and pointed his fingers at him. Hibiki Inuzuka hesitated for a moment, and held out 2 fingers to Uchiha Shinta as well. The dizzy Tengchong Da suddenly realized. Seal of reconciliation. He quickly stood up and announced the result of the game. Match 2. Uchiha Shinta wins. Both sides form a seal of reconciliation. The tone of Hibiki Inuzuka, who put his hand down, seemed a bit twisted, but it was much more relaxed than before. Don't think that I will give up challenging you. One day, I will defeat you. Then you have to work hard. Konoha's Black Beast. Uchiha Shinta gave him a verbal encouragement. It's Konoha's Black Proud Bulldog. Hibiki Inuzuka, who is obsessed with his nickname, is struggling on the emergency chair. It's all the same. Uchiha Shinta waved his hand and walked off the court, hearing the sound of Tengchong Dahei's horn in his ears. Match 3. Nawaki vs. Akamaiki Tingshu. On the field, Nawaki and Akamaiki Dingshu are forming opposing seals, ready to start the battle. Off the court, Uchiha Shinta clone once again refused the consolation of the fans in the class, and walked to his old position where he rested every time he took a practical test, preparing to lie flat with some lazy people. Sure enough, Shinta spotted Nara Lu's figure under the big tree from a distance. He was leaning under the tree, squinting to watch the matchup in the arena, and there were 2 half-eaten snack bags open beside him. He also went to lie down, enjoying the breeze under the tree, and expressed his surprise that the snacks were left on the sidelines. Dingshu didn't bring his snacks when he entered the venue. It's really strange. After all, he is the young master of the Senju family, and Dingshu also wants to graduate successfully. So he put down his food today and is ready to go to the competition with all his heart. Nara Deer responded slightly, but his eyes were still squinted, watching Nawaki seal in the field, using wind-style great breakthrough to blow Akamaiki's small tree into the air, hit the big tree in the examination room, and the ground was also covered by wind-style just scrape off 1 layer. Haha, isn't he more easily distracted like this? Let me see that he has snacks on his body to better stimulate his fighting power. After all, we must protect the snacks from being destroyed, right? While Uchiha Shinta asked back, he also looked at the field. Nawaki used the body replacement technique to dodge Kunai's attack, and then responded with 2 shurikens to Akamaiki, who was swallowing secretly. Maybe, but Isshin is also scary towards Dingshu, who ended the fight and came over early for a snack. Nara, as a member of the Ino Shikacho tribe, unconditionally supports Akamaiki. In the field, Akamaiki Dingshu used expansion jutsu to turn into a big meatball. His hands and feet retracted into his body, and under the action of chakra sprayed from his limbs and head, his whole body spun wildly, bounced off the shuriken, and moved towards Nawaki, rolled away, cutting a wide path directly along the way. This is Meatball Chariot. Has Dingshu learned the partial doubling technique? If not, he will be in danger today. Uchiha Shinta, who is more familiar with Nawaki, asked Nara Lu, but he was also bored and took the opportunity to raise the topic. Not yet. You also know that Dingshu is not a genius, just an ordinary Akamaiki. And Nawaki's talent is second only to you in our class. That's why I told him, try your best to perform in battle and let the examiner score higher, so that the chances of getting the Genin forehead protector will be higher. Nara shook his head slightly, talking about his previous preparations. Indeed, look, Ding Shu has already lost. But his performance just now should be pretty good, and the scores given by both examiners are quite high. Uchiha Shinta watched the field being kicked by Nawaki in the wrong direction, and kept turning in circles in the middle of the field, causing Akamaiki Ding Shu to faint on the ground. He couldn't help but peeped at the next 5 examiners in the body replacement technique state score. The sound of Tengchong Da announcing the result of the battle came from far away in the center of the venue. Nawaki wins the 3rd game. The two sides form a seal of reconciliation. Nara Lu versus Hyuga Hazashi in the 4th match. Nara squinted slightly and stood up, leaving the shade under the big tree to Uchiha Shinta alone. Oh, how did I meet Hyuga's family? It seems that I can only use Ding Shu's tactics. Don't frown, I will help you to see the examiner's score. I wish you victory. Uchiha Shinta made a cheering gesture, and his body collapsed under the tree without moving. Nara Lu came to the field, and Akamaiki Ding Shu, who was leaving the field, gave a high five on the way. He and Hyuga Hazashi came to stand in the field and formed the seal of opposition. It's so troublesome, Hazashi, I didn't expect to meet you. Rolling eyes is really hard to deal with. Nara Lu greeted Hyuga Hazashi, his hands began to form mudras, and the shadow under his body became distorted and slender. Hyuga Hazashi also formed mudras, opened the white eyes, and the veins on the forehead and the corners of the eyes were bulging. He carefully observed Nara Lu's every move, especially the change of chakra in the shadow below him. The Nara family's shadow imitation skills are also famous, so please let us have a serious duel. Hey, you Hyugas are always like this. Then, I'll attack first. The shadow under Nara Lu's feet began to eject rapidly, like an extremely long lion majesty, biting towards Hyuga Hazashi not far away. Hyuga Hayashi dodges in a hurry. Shua, 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 shua. He jumped back and forth in the field, trying his best to avoid the intersection of his own shadow with Nara Lu's shadow imitation technique, and kept attacking in the direction where Nara Lu was standing. It's really troublesome to be able to see chakra's flowing white eyes. The shadow imitation technique is completely useless. Watching Hyuga Hazashi dodge and directly avoid the shadow imitation technique chakra that he hid in the shadow under the steel pipe, Nara scratched his head slightly, thinking about how to win. Only relying on setting up traps and elongating shadow attacks, chakra will be observed with supercilious eyes, thus pointing out the direction for Hyuga Hazashi to avoid. When he gets close to me, that's when I lose. Single quote. Then you can only use the surrounding environment. The clouds and the sky, the examiner next to him, and that big tree. Yes, Nara Lu continued to maintain the seal posture, using shadow imitation to attack and harass Hyuga Hazashi. At the same time, he extended a long black shadow from behind, followed the trace left by Akamaiki Ding Shu's meat bomb battlefield, just now, circled behind Hyuga Hazashi, and docked at his shadow. Hyuga Hazashi didn't seem to notice, and continued to dodge Nara Lu's shadow, luring Nara Lu to wrap the shadow behind him towards Hyuga Hazashi. Seeing that he was about to control Hyuga Hazashi's shadow, Nara felt something was wrong. Is it true that Hyuga's family doesn't observe chakra in the ditch at all? Sure enough, in the previous Setsuna, which was flanking back and forth, Hyuga Hazashi jumped up and spanned more than half the distance of the examination room. Nara immediately withdraws all shadows, and merged under their feet to form a black circle of more than 10 meters, forcing Hyuga Hazashi back directly. This is shadow imitation technique waiting for a rabbit form. Because of insufficient chakra, Nara Shikamaru couldn't maintain this form for too long, and could only jump backwards quickly, trying to get rid of Hyuga Hazashi. It is impossible for the esoteric sect of Break Mountain Strike to be handed over to a child. Hyuga Hazashi, who thinks that the long-range attack is not powerful enough, can only find a way to fight in melee, or use the combat state to constantly consume Nara Lu chakra to win. He retreated in the direction of Nara Lu, and easily avoided the harassment attacks of chakra's imitation technique while running. During the battle, the two kept chasing and dodging around the area of the examination room. From one end to the other, from the other end to this end, they turned about 2 or 3 times. The shadow began to shrink. At this moment, Nara Shikamaru once again felt the sun shining on his back during his escape. He immediately seized the opportunity, ran left and right to pick up the whole position, so that the third examiner and Nara Lu, Hyuga Hazashi and Taiyang were in a line. Nara Shikamaru's hands are in mudra, and the shadow imitation technique is ready to go. A moment later, a ray of light came from behind, making Nara's shadow instantly extend to Hyuga Hayashi, binding him so he couldn't move. What? I clearly saw every chakra emanating from Nara Lu just now, and the sun is also on my side, how could it be controlled again? Hyuga Hazashi is struggling, unwilling to ask Nara how to do it. But he still couldn't break free from the control of the black shadow connecting him and himself. Nara Lu turned around, and Hyuga Hazashi, who was hit by the shadow imitation technique, also turned around at the same time, with his back to Nara Lu. Ninjutsu. No ninja of the same level can get rid of my shadow imitation technique. Nara Lu made a gesture of reaching out for something and putting it on his neck. Hyuga Hazashi reached out and took out the kunai from his pocket, and put it on his neck. Hyuga Hazashi had to face reality and admit defeat honestly. Teacher, I admit defeat. Teng Chongda stepped forward to announce the result. In the fourth match, Nara won by a small margin. Fifth match, Kiryu Wakana vs. Kuchiki Suzune. Nara Deer released the shadow imitation technique slightly, and after forming a seal of reconciliation with Hyuga Hazashi, he walked to the leisure big tree and answered Hazashi's questions by the way. I used to move the position before and deliberately adjusted the angle to form the position of the sun, Hyuga Hazashi, Nara Lu, the third examiner's forehead protector. When the sunlight hit the forehead protector on the third examiner's head, the reflected sunlight was just aimed at me, forming a temporary shadow behind me against the sunlight, in conjunction with the shadow imitation technique I had already prepared, covering your body directly, it will naturally be able to completely control your actions. That's how deer live. In the arena, two fans of Uchiha Shinta are pecking at each other. The relationship between Kiryu Wakana and Kuchiki Suzune is not good. Kiryu Wakana with oval face was born in a commoner family, only father is Chunin. Her grandparents joined Konoha village in the year when Konoha was founded. To commemorate the first generation project, Senju Hashirama opened up this peaceful paradise in the chaos of Sengoku. He took Kiryu as his and his descendants' surname, which means a new land born from the beginning of the world. Kuchiki Suzune, with blonde hair and a single ponytail, was born in a family of officials from the land of fire. Her ancestors were distantly related to the Senju family, and had been serving as officials in the capital of the Fire Land before. After the establishment of Konoha village, the branch of her grandparents moved out to Konoha village to express their support for their distant relative Senju Hashirama. The two of them would not have had much intersection. They are equally beautiful and have their own small circle. They are well cared for by their families even if they are in the same class at the ninja school, but the difference in three views and living environment will only make their hearts proud of them. They keep their distance from each other. At most, they show some plastic camaraderie between beautiful girls. But, if there is anything that can turn two adolescent girls against each other, then falling in love with a handsome little boy at the same time will definitely rank in the top 3. Everything changed when Uchiha Shinta original appeared in class on their second day of school. Facing this 3U, handsome guy with cool talk, handsome expression, and great strength, the precocious Kiryu Wakana and Kuchiki Suzune, under the influence of their respective small circles, fanatically began to pursue Uchiha Shinta. Although the falling flowers are intentional, the flowing water is ruthless. Whether it's the scumbag behavior of the predecessor who enjoyed it but didn't reply, or Uchiha Shinta's firm refusal after crossing, none of them made any of them succeed, win. But the two of them became more and more persistent, and in the quarrel with each other, the beams became deeper and deeper. There is a saying that is very suitable for the thoughts of adolescent boys and girls who are deeply affectionate: I like you, whether you reply or not, it has nothing to do with you. After 6 years of fermentation and self-touching, Kiryu Wakana and Kuchiki Suzune have long regarded the pursuit of Uchiha Shinta as their most important goal at present. They will also become Yugong Yishin. Even if the river blocks the way, they will let the river dry up. However, for those who put all their energy into love every day, their ninja talents and efforts are really insignificant. I saw that under the boost of chakra, The two people in the field had the strength of ordinary adults in their punches and kicks, but compared with the wonderful duels in the previous rounds, the examiner could only shake his head again and again. However, as the only daughters in the family, it might be a good thing not to be ninjas. Bang! Wakana Kiryu and Suzune Kuchiki fell to the ground at the same time while pulling each other. With bruised noses and swollen faces, they struggled to get up, but they couldn't get up under the interference of each other. Protruding forehead. Let go. Let me get up. Kuchiki Suzune exhaled fragrant, and pulled Kiryu Wakana's hand that was holding her arm. You are the Mediterranean. I must hit you. Fu, win Shinta-kun. Not to be outdone, Kiryu Wakana cursed, pressed Kuchiki Suzune's arm down, and tried to stand up with strength, but did not find Kuchiki Suzune, who was half lying on the ground, secretly stretched out his feet and hooked his heels. Boom! Kiryu Wakana, who just stood up staggered, was hooked by Kuchiki Suzune on the back of her feet with the force of her pressure, and fell down on the back of her head as her center of gravity was unstable. She opened her eyes vigorously, trying to stay awake and stand up again, but unfortunately she still couldn't fight against the dizziness of her brain, and she collapsed to the ground with her eyes closed. Boom! Seeing his opponent fall to the ground, Kuchiki Suzune finally relaxed and also fell backwards. Tengchong-da, who had been staring at the two of them since they fell down, rushed up and took the medical ninja for inspection. Doctor, come on, see if they are okay. After some inspection, the beautiful female medical ninja raised her head and described her illness, while exclaiming that she is very. Kiryu's brain has some minor concussions, but for the ninja, it will be good to recover after a few days. The rest of the body are all skin trauma. Kuchiki Suzune is similar. Kids these days really work hard. Tengchong-da breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, there is no problem. The two of them are too serious about winning or losing. The doctor will wait for you to take care of them at the first aid point until they wake up. Okay, that's no problem, it's my job requirement. After Tengchong-da and the beauty Yiren settled down Kiryu Wakana and Kuchiki Suzune, he went to the court again to announce the result. 5th match, Kuchiki Suzune wins. 6th match, Aburame Shido vs Moonlight Keita. Off the field, Uchiha Shinta calmly watched the two girls beat themselves to pieces, while Nara Lu next to him was slightly puzzled. Shinta, why don't you go and see? They fought because of you. Uchiha Shinta responded to Lu Wei's question rationally and coldly. No need, I didn't intend to respond to their liking. If I go to comfort them again today, they will definitely still have hope in their hearts. Then if I don't respond in the future, maybe in order to attract me again, I'll intentionally hurt Zaiho. And today's indifference should allow them to see the reality clearly. It's good for everyone. Nara Deer shook his head slightly, and continued to lie down and bask in the sun. Tisk tisk tisk. Emotions are really troublesome. Everyone who says Nara's family motto, stay away from women you don't want to mess with. Uchiha Shinta also lay down, reached out and took a piece of potato chips from Akamaiki Tingshu, and put it in his mouth with his eyes closed. Crack. Sure enough, food is more to my liking. The sun shines leisurely, and through the shade of the trees, it falls on the people who enjoy the shade. Almost an hour and a half passed. Uchiha Shinta, who was squinting, was slightly shaken awake by Nara Deer. Shinta, the first round is over. The teacher called us over. Yawn. Uchiha Shinta stretched himself under the tree and got lost in the field. The second round of duel is ready to start too. In the middle of the Konoha village ninja school playground, Tengchong-da, the class teacher and host of the graduation exam, stood in front of the class. He looked around at the queue that had been reduced to only 23 people due to the battle just now, raised the red shortlist in his hand and began to announce the names. Just now our first round of 16 matchups has ended, and the ones entering the second round are Sarutobi Kanata, Uchiha Shinta, Nawaki, Nara Lu, Kuchiki Suzune, Aburame Zido, etc. 16 people. The students whose names have been read above are invited to continue to participate in the second round of duel. Other students can watch in the playground, or return to the classroom. The list of those who pass the ninja test will be announced after all the duels are over. Now, the first match of the second round begins. Tengchong-da's voice of reading the script smoothly stopped suddenly. He glanced at Kuchiki Lingyan, who was standing wobbly in the field, and continued to read in a complicated tone. The first matchup of the second round, Uchiha Shinta vs. Kuchiki Suzune. 2 students please come to the stage. Other students disperse. After announcing the duel players, Teng Chongda walked off the stage, and when passing by Kuchiki Lingyan, he couldn't help but speak. That, Kuchiki-san, you can surrender in a duel. Your body. Teacher Da. Kuchiki Suzune stopped playing, interrupted Teng Chongda's words, and made a serious request. This duel may be the closest I've ever been to Shinta-kun. So, please support me this time, teacher. This. Teng Chongda stood on the spot, unable to speak, and could only watch Kuchiki Lingyan enduring the pain in his body, and walked briskly into the arena. The so-called ninja is a person who carries something on his back. When Kuchiki Suzune can take this step, she has become a ninja mentally. As a teacher, how can Teng Chongda prevent his students from practicing ninja? Kuchiki Suzune came across from Uchiha Shinta. She was silent for a while, and finally smiled brightly. Shinta-kun, I never thought I would be able to stand on the same field as you. Uchiha Shinta keenly noticed her faintly trembling arms, shrinking her body following the Kuchiki bell sound, and she tried her best to hide it by dancing her clothes in the wind. He pretended not to notice. Indeed, I didn't expect to meet you in the duel. Kuchiki Suzune smiled freely, and raised her hand to tie the 2 strands of blonde hair on her forehead behind her head. Who would have expected it? Just like I thought before, I can always watch you from behind and support you. Forever. However, when I passed out just now, I was extremely sensitive, and I heard what Shinta-kun you said to Nara Lu. Sure enough, longing is the furthest distance in the world. I didn't realize it until then. Shinta-kun, you have never belonged to me, you don't have to respond to my liking, and I don't know you very well. Uchiha Shinta listened patiently, giving Kuchiki Suzune an awkward smile. Ah, you heard that. Judging from your approach, you should have figured it out. Kuchiki Suzune nodded, trying her best to bring some cheerfulness into her tone. After this graduation exam is over, I'm going back to the fire country. In the future, Kiryu Wakana may be the only one who will pester you. However, before I leave, I want to have a fight with Shinta-kun, even if it is the last memory of my 6 years in the ninja school. Saying that, Kuchiki Suzune first raised his hand and raised his index finger, looking at Uchiha Shinta with a smile. Uchiha Shinta also had a smile on his face, and raised his hand to form the seal of opposition with Kuchiki Suzune. Then, let's have a fair duel. Uchiha Shinta pointed to Kuchiki Suzune with the finger that raised the seal of opposition. Whoosh! A green beam of chakra shot out from Uchiha Shinta's hand, directly sinking into Kuchiki Suzune's body. Ah! She couldn't help but cry out in delight. After being shot by the green chakra beam, Kuchiki bell music feels like soaking in the legendary fountain of life. The injury on his body just recovered completely in the blink of an eye, and the remaining chakra began to directly convert into his own vitality. The skin on his body became tighter, everything within the range of sight became at least twice as clear, and his mental state also changed. Extraordinary condition. Under the stimulation of this vitality, and experience the satisfaction of the source, no one can keep the state of depression unshakable. Kuchiki Suzune raised her hand, looked at her skin reluctantly, and suddenly relaxed. Is this a farewell gift from you, Shinta-kun? Then I'll accept it bluntly. She smiled and thanked Uchiha Shinta, then looked at the students around her, reached out and took out a kunai from the ninja bag, and put it horizontally in front of her. I've been chatting with you Shinta-kun for so long without realizing it. Let's start the duel. Don't keep everyone waiting. Uchiha Shinta stretched one hand forward and one hand behind his back, posing in the Ip Man style. Please, he signaled to Kuchiki Suzune to go first. Quote! Quote. Kuchiki Suzune was not too polite, and took advantage of the lingering rhyme of the medical chakra just now, and directly jumped up to attack Uchiha Shinta. In the buff state that Shinta added to her, she only felt that her speed was almost doubled, but she was completely in control. An extraordinary chakra was running all over her body, and the blood that had been silent for dozens of generations was activated, making her subconsciously understand the physical art strange power or art placed at home. She was about to attack with kunai. She put away kunai halfway, clenched a fist with one hand, and swung towards Uchiha Shinta who was standing there. Uchiha Shinta discovered her attack change, combined with the effect of his own chakra. He had a clear understanding, and his heart moved. Is it the awakening of the bloodline or the return of the bloodline? Chakra feels that he is struggling further. Boom, boom, boom. A nearly 3-meter-high earth wall rose rapidly from the front of Kuchiki Lingyan with a bang sound, completely blocking her way. Behind this earth wall, there are 5 identical earthen walls standing. Facing the high wall blocking the way, the bloody Kuchiki Lingyan didn't dodge at all, but just fine-tuned the angle of his fist, and directly punched and bombarded the dirt wall blocking the way. Boom. The first earth wall was directly broken by Kuchiki's ringtone filled with chakras, physical technique, strange power fist. But she immediately discovered that there was another earth wall behind. But that's it. Look at my strange power fist. Ola, oiler, oiler. Kuchiki Suzune continued to move forward quickly and straightly, and all the earthen walls blocking the way were smashed by her fists. She believed that Uchiha Shinta must be waiting for her right there. After all, from what I know, with his arrogance, he will never dodge the attack he is facing now. Bang, 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 bang. The speed of Kuchiki Suzune, who passed through the 7 earth walls, became faster and faster with the support of footprints and holes on the ground, even comparable to the 4-legged technique of Kenzuka Inuzuka. She jumped up again, and the first time she saw Uchiha Shinta standing there. Shinta, take it. This punch of mine that has condensed 6 years of affection. Kuchiki Suzune, who yelled and punched, came to Uchiha Shinta and smashed it violently. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.